We should be live.
We won't be.
No, that's just for the patrons. Lock it down. Exclusive. That's exclusive for the patrons. Moon singing.
God damn it. I broke my gimmick already.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I know we're live because I'm getting a Black Desert promo on my tablet now.
There you go. Boy, if only we got a cut of that advertising money.
Yeah.
We're not that
Hey,
big.
Twitch. So much for your partner thing, Twitch.
Yeah, how close are we to partner? Where is that?
It's not even fucking worth it, and you know it. That's the scary thing.
No, I'm just I qualify for affiliate, but that every time I go and I'm like, oh man, maybe I'll sign up for affiliate. They're like, okay, fill out this tax form. What's your social number? It's like, we're not making that much money.
We're not making money, period.
Yeah. Well, I'd be making some money if we were affiliate, but not enough to make it worth the tax hit.
Yeah.
Okay, so
hold on a minute. Here's the $5 that we make a week from this.
So partner is stream for 25 hours in 30 days. We do about half of that a month. Stream on 12 different days. We obviously don't do that. And average 75 viewers, which we aren't even close to.
Yep.
Which we love our viewers. Thank you very much for joining us. But
yes, it's
tell
good
your
to
friends.
see you in the chat every week.
Yeah.
Even the scumbags from Mixer, except for that one guy last week who was on Mixer, who was really cool.
Yeah, I don't remember his or her name, but that was something about golf. 2 thumbs up.
Yes.
Big fan.
Mr. Golf Game or something like that?
Something like that. I want to say like the Golf Yeti, but I don't think that's right. Oh, there it is. Mr. Golf Pants.
There we go.
Thank you, Mixer, for continuing to save previous chats. I like it.
That is something I do like about that.
Mm-hmm.
It's really bad though if there is something real not nice on there.
Yeah.
And you load up your next stream and it's like, oh hey, look, there's that racist epitaph I did not want to see ever again.
Xbox Shivaho says YouTube for life. YouTube, I think, is probably the best player out of all 3 of them, hands down.
Yeah. Also, hello dear.
Yes. Okay.
I still can't believe I totally didn't do the boo-wah noise in my patron exclusive section.
It's pretty good.
I should have done the boo-wah noise.
If anyone wants to know what that's all about, go become a patron at the $2 level or higher. Patreon.com/E1M1.
Yep. Also, Honey, why did you spell life L-Y-F-E? You're making me ashamed.
Because it's what you get the knuckle tattoos.
She's already got them?
Oh, okay. Well, you can't double up on knuckle tattoos.
No, you can't. That's just wrong.
Yeah. You gotta commit.
Mm-hmm. Oh, speaking of committing, so we went to see Halloween on Thursday. The new Halloween.
The new one?
Yes. Having zero connection to the Halloween franchise.
Okay.
I've seen, I think, the first one probably about 15 years ago.
I feel like it's ubiquitous enough that I think both of us have actually seen the first one. Or at least the majority of it.
Yeah. Before we did ODNF, we actually... I feel bad because before ODNF became a show, we were actually already doing ODNF, where we were introducing each other to movies that we should have seen but haven't.
Oh, right.
So we ended up watching the first Friday the 13th movie, the one with Jason.
Oh, okay.
We ended up watching that together. I'm pretty sure Alien was on that list as well, along with a whole bunch of other movies that would have been great for ODNF.
Yeah.
But we end up going to see Halloween on Thursday. That movie is fucking great.
Really?
Like,
that's exciting.
Genuinely a fantastic movie.
That's really good to hear.
And it's got a lot of Carpenter in it, and everything that the Carpenter entails.
Nice.
The practical effects, the Carpenter music.
Oh, yeah.
It's so good. Like, it's a genuinely fantastic movie, and I feel like a solid reboot of that franchise.
Nice. The only reason I knew it was coming out is Nine Inch Nails did a remix of the main theme, and put it out on vinyl, and I was like, oh, okay, cool. I can add that to my collection back here. Where is it? It's mostly Nine Inch Nails records. For a single which has one track on it, it is $20. It's like, yeah, I'm okay. Thanks.
Yeah, but it's Nin, and it's a record, and it's the Halloween thing.
It's like
that's
cool
why it's $20. You know that's
record.
why.
Like it's, I get the cost, but it will not be joining the collection. So it shows up on eBay in probably about 15 years.
Yeah, but then it's going to be $6,000.
Yeah, there's only 2 Nine Inch Nails records that ever got obscenely high.
And you're also basing a lot on the fact that you think we're going to have electricity in 10 years.
That's fair. Yeah. I'll have to have the pony in back run around the circle to power up my record player.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Blow the bellows to spin the air thing to make it spin. It worked out really great. Do I want to know?
No, I was just going to say, like, thank goodness I had a kid to work the bellows.
Yes. She'll be big enough by then.
Yeah, absolutely.
Get big and strong.
Yeah.
Alexandria set up.
That's why I forgot to play this week. Damn it.
Oh, yeah, because you are in there.
Yeah.
Wibbly wobbly magic thing.
Yeah. I just keep forgetting because I have to come up here and play it in the office, and it's fine. Like, my computer's fine, my chair is fine, but like once the kid goes to bed, if I'm sitting downstairs playing something, like one of the cats will come up and lay on me, and I've got my blanket, I have my water, like I'm all comfy.
You're all comfy, and you're all tucking out from a hard day's dadding.
Yeah, exactly. I don't want to move.
Oh. I'm not gonna lie, to like seeing Halloween kind of made me want to go watch Jason X again, because Jason X is so good. It's so fucking dumb. Like, let's just get it out of the way. It's so fucking dumb, and I don't think Jason will ever be that bad guy in the way that Michael is.
Yeah,
like I love the fact that Michael is essentially this unstoppable powerhouse, but at the end of the day, he's human. Ish. Yeah. Whereas Jason X, they just flat out turn around and say, "Oh yeah, this guy's been like he's been hung, he's been drawn, he's been quartered, he's been gassed, he's been injected, and he just won't die."
Yeah,
like, it's that simple. He just won't die. It's like Jason's good. Michael's probably the better bad guy, and he's really creepy. The fact that he literally only has a little knife. A little knife.
Yeah.
It's like a kitchen knife
and a mask.
Yeah. Jason's got this huge machete. Freddy's got his weird scissor fingers.
His little snick.
Yeah. He's got his claws. Like, who else are the big bad guys? I mean, that's the big 3.
Yeah. I feel like anything else beyond that is like Alien and Predator and stuff, but that's, to me, that's like the second tier. Not being a horror fan or aficionado, to me that's like the next, more sci-fi than...
Yeah. I mean, they did a pretty good job in the movie I've already forgotten the name of. God damn it. Hellfest?
Okay.
They do a pretty good job with that guy, but he doesn't have a name. Like, the biggest mistake you can make when you're trying to make a horror movie is not give your bad guy a name. He needs a name. Even if it's a
bad name, they have to have a name.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of, I still need to watch the latest It. I haven't watched that.
Yeah, I haven't seen that either.
I'm very excited to watch that.
Me too. I'm kind of tempted to wait though until the second
both parts are out. Yeah.
Yeah, because
I have a lot less affection for the second half of that book than I do for the first half of that book. So the second movie is not as appealing to me.
The second half of the book being the grown-up bullshit.
Yeah, like the modern day cosmic craziness.
Yeah.
It goes a little too Stephen King.
Yeah, it does. Well, yeah.
I've read most of his books, and when he starts doing that, I sort of like, all right, this book isn't
that's the thing is, like, King is a genuinely fantastic, like, horror writer. He builds atmosphere like nobody's business.
Yeah.
But when he gets up his own ass a little bit, that's when it falls apart a little. Like you said, like the back half of It. Any of the fucking... the Gunslinger series.
Oh, Dark Tower. I got through 2 books of that, and I couldn't do it.
The first book is fucking quality. Like, I absolutely adore The Gunslinger, like book 1 of the Dark Tower series, because it's not him being Stephen King, it's him building this world. The second you get to I think it's the 3rd book, at the end of the 3rd book and the start of the 4th is when he had his truck accident, I believe, and he almost died.
Yeah.
And that's when he gets all Stephen King on it.
Yeah.
And that's when it starts to go off the loophole where he's writing the series with himself in the series, building the world, and you go back and you meet fucking Dolores Claiborne and everything else.
Coheed and Cambria bullshit.
He's doing some fucking Supernatural, the TV show bullshit, where they literally have a guy in the show writing books about the characters in the show who is a prophet from the Lord. I mean, come on.
Probably my favorite Stephen King book is Firestarter.
I don't think I've read Firestarter. I wish I could remember the name of the one with the aliens in the desert. That one is real fucking good.
I don't remember. The thing I really like about Firestarter is it's a very small story, and there's sci-fi, but it's believable enough. Desperation?
Yes, I think that could be the one.
All I googled was Stephen King aliens in, and it just filled in the desert. And it said Desperation.
That has
1996.
That's got some fucking impressive like atmosphere building, and really fucked up shit happens in that, kind of similar to it. Like, it has some real dark fucking shit happening in it, but the atmosphere he builds in that is incredible. I think Dreamcatcher is probably a close number 2 for me.
Your wife in chat says, read Joe Hill's Strange Weather, very good. I keep meaning to check out Joe Hill's other stuff. I read Horns, and I really liked it.
That is my favorite Stephen King book, because it's essentially the best of Stephen King.
I liked it. I really liked it all the way through, but like the last couple of pages of that book are like, all right, this is really something special in a way that's sort of fucked up and confusing, and I really like it.
Have you seen the movie version?
No, I have it, and I really like Daniel Radcliffe a lot. I just cannot pull the trigger on watching it for some reason.
It is a very good adaptation of that book. It's not the same as the book, obviously. It's going to have different things in it. They lean a little bit less into the explaining that he essentially made a deal with the devil kind of thing. They do a lot of that by connotation and, figure this out yourself kind of thing. But it's a really, really good adaptation of an actual novel. And Joe Hill is fucking incredible. Yeah. Like, his writing style is very reminiscent of Stephen King, but like I said, I think it's better than King because
it has its own tone.
Yeah, I think he sticks on point a lot better than King ever could.
Yeah, King gets off on a lot of tangents. The same similar movie that I'm still really hesitant to watch is John Dies in the End. I love that book, and the second book,
I haven't even read the book.
I really like the first book for a lot of reasons I can't say without totally spoiling the entire book. The next book, Don't Open This Book, it has spiders in it. It's a great title, and the cover is even better. I didn't like it as much because I felt like it was trying to get too clever with its premise. But it's another one of those things where I hear the movie is fine, and I like the book, but I just can't pull myself to sit there and fire it up. Yeah. Same with Ready Player One.
Oh, I mean, the funny thing with that is, like, I mean, have you read that book?
Yeah, I read it when it first came out. I thought I enjoyed it. I didn't think it's not the best writing I've ever read in the entire world. I thought it was fun, and I thought it was kind of goofy, and I like stuff that's referential like that. Like, oh, I know, yeah, all right, Joust, sure, yeah.
I think Joust. the thing with me with that book is I think it's a great popcorn book.
Oh, 100%.
It's a fucking incredible, like, switch your brain off, read the book, have a good time, go
Yeah.
on the journey kind of thing. I understand the reverence it's got because those nerds need to hang on to anything at all
Yeah.
just to prove that we can do it too, kind of thing. I get that completely. I think the scariest thing about that is very much the same thing with 1985 and fuck, the guy who wrote Do Robots Dream of Electric Sheep.
Oh my god. Yeah, that guy.
You know who I'm talking about. Like,
Yeah.
the thing that's most impressive to me about Ready Player One is how close you can see that future being. It's the vision of the future and how genuinely applicable and how much thought is put behind the whole system. Like schools, everything else. Like, I could very easily see everybody just staying in their houses and kids go to school using VR helmets.
Oh yeah, 100%.
And I could very easily see governments going that way because it would cut out on the need for buildings.
George Orwell. Thank you.
That's the one. Thank you. But yeah, for me, that was the most impressive thing about that. It was like, this is a dystopian future that could literally be 2 years away.
Yeah. Yeah.
At any point.
I understand why people don't like that book because the plot is fine and its insistence on leaning on references to curry your favor is very strong. But that sort of stuff doesn't really bother me, I know, as much as it bothers everyone else. My problem with his writing, I think that's Ernest Cline.
Yes, it is.
My problem with his writing showed up in Armada, his second book. I thought that was a trash fire. Because he takes, as opposed to the like sci-fi video games 80s and 90s references that he had in Ready Player One, he basically tries to make an alien invasion sci-fi book in the second one, and it was a real struggle to get through. I thought that was a mess. There was something about it that was missing. I meant to look if you've written anything else.
Oh yeah, George Orwell did 1985, and Philip K. Dick was the one who did Androids and Electric Sheep.
Thank you, Smith, MD, and Mrs. Moonpier.
Yes, thank you both. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing with me, is like, for me, it's never about the actual contents of the book. Like, contents of the book are fucking great. I mean, it's all about the potential world building. Like, I'm very much Vinnie Caravella in this instance, where it's like, if you've got a story that's based in modern day, that's fucking fine and all. Sean Hudson is an English author who, I don't know if he grew up in Liverpool, but he grew up very locally to me.
Oh, Smith MD says 1984. That's right. Thank you.
That's right. Thank you.
1 year off.
And Sean Hudson writes really solid popcorn horror and thriller novels based in modern day, and it's got a little bit of the satanic stuff in it and everything like that. And they're genuinely good books, but they will never grab me the same way Night Watch does.
Right.
They like, because stuff like that, where it's taking modern day and building an entire world on top of it.
Yeah,
it's like,
the real strengths of urban fantasy.
Yeah, like, I love that shit. I love the reason I will always sing the praises of people who write extended universe shit. Like, Star Wars would not be Star Wars without the extended universe. 400
books that came out.
Yep. And Halo, for me, would not be anywhere near as enjoyable as it would be without those novels. Because those fucking novels, whoever wrote them, are incredible.
Yeah.
Like, I just love the extended universe bullshit. And speaking of which, how are you doing with Night Watch? Because I know you started it.
Yeah, so speaking of urban fantasy, I started Night Watch, and I'm enjoying it, especially the way that the Russian language is written and then translated into English. There's like a roundabout way. I really like it. But what keeps happening is all of these series that I'm reading, the next book in the series is coming out. So I'm like reading a little bit of Night Watch and then reading 2 more books in a series I'm on like books 9 and 10 on, and then going back to Night Watch. So like there's an author I really like, Alona Andrews. It's a husband and wife duo. They've finished their series that they've been writing for like the last 10 or so years. They just finished it, so I was like, okay, well, before anyone spoils the like 9th and 10th books, let me just burn through these real quick.
Yeah,
those were really good. I think if anyone is looking for an urban fantasy series, they read the Kate Daniel series. Those are really good. I wasn't as crazy about the last book as everyone else seems to be, but I have issues with it that nobody else seems to, which is fine.
it sounds about right though.
Well, it's like, to me, by the time you get to the 10th book, I want characters that have been the same throughout the series to continue to grow, but I don't want them to fundamentally change all of a sudden and then later explain what's like, oh, well, this thing was happening in the background. It's like, cool, but you've been different for an entire book. Like, that's... Don't get me started.
I mean, my biggest pet peeve, and this is nothing against the actual authors,
right?
It's the continuation stories, which is weird considering how much I love extended universe bullshit. But there is two big examples of this are the Wheel of Time series.
Oh yeah,
and the Dune series. Like the Dune trilogy, the OG Dune trilogy will always be among my favorite books ever because holy shit, talk about building a world.
Yeah.
Like the fact that the first book in the Dune series is essentially the first like 5 paragraphs is politics.
Right.
It's like, get used to this.
Right.
We'll get to the action later, but just so you know, it's like if Lord of the Rings didn't start with a party but started with the appendices instead.
Right. The Silmarillion is just the first hour.
Yeah, exactly. But if you can get through that, that is genuinely one of the best like trilogies ever. My issue is the last book was not done by Paul Herbert. It was done by half by him and then half by his son because Paul Herbert died.
Yeah, same with Wheel of Time with
Yep.
What is his name? I really like him as an author.
Yeah.
Let me look it up.
Fuck.
Brandon Sanderson. The dude who just cannot stop writing books.
Like the Wheel of Time was Game of Thrones before Game of Thrones even came out because I started reading Wheel of Time and I was like, this is very Game of Thrones. Like I only started like 4 or 5 years ago reading them.
Right.
I was like, this feels very Game of Thrones. And I did some research and Wheel of Time came out first.
Yeah, Eye of the World was 1984.
I think
published in
Game of Thrones was shortly afterwards. Whatever the first one's called. What is the first one called?
Song of Ice and Fire?
That's the series. I think the first book is Game of Thrones. The second book is something else.
Yeah, the first one is Game of Thrones. Yes, 6 years later. 1996. That's a much more recent series than I was thinking. I thought that was older.
You think that because he's been writing the same fucking book for 10 years now? Like, look at the release dates on those books.
Here are the release dates. 96, 98, 2000. We're doing great. The money starts coming in. 2005, 2011, forthcoming.
Yes.
I like how they're not even guessing anymore. It's just like, someday. I don't know.
Yeah, that forthcoming has been that way for so fucking long, and he's still got 2 more to write after that. He's gonna, no offense, George, you're gonna drop dead of a heart attack before you finish those fucking books.
Yeah, I mean, almost guaranteed.
So, good luck to the show writers. He's not even that old, dude.
Is 70. That is older than I was expecting.
Yeah, older than I was expecting, but
I was expecting him like 50, like late 50s, early 60s.
Yeah, but that dude's gonna be gone soon, and the show writer's gonna have to finish it because they're the only fucking people who he's told shit to. So
yeah, they'll put Brandon Sanderson on it again. That dude can't stop. Like he wrote that new series. What is that other series he was writing that I started reading and I'm not going to be finishing? Where is it? Hold on. Where's his books? Books. Stormlight Archive. First book of that was 1,000 pages. That's just the start. And the next book was like 1,200 something pages. And the next one after that, he's like, well, it's going to be even longer. It's like, bro, I cannot do this. I can't go down Like, he wrote the
So-
Mistborn series, which I really like a lot.
Mhm.
I can't keep going with you, buddy.
Is this did he Harry Potter it, where he's just like, yo, this big, this big, this big, this big, this big?
No, it was even like the first 3 Mistborn were all kind of like 400-ish pages apiece, which is fine. To me, that's like an average book. But like when you start out, the first one is 1,000 pages of like 7 characters, and they're all getting intertwined in the 3rd book. I'm just like, I can't take this trip with you, dude. I'm sorry. I like your writing. It's solid. Nothing super fantastic, but just pull it back.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, Wheel of Time is a great example for me because, like, Wheel of fucking Time is one of my favorite series of all time. I always get up to like book 7 or 8 and then dead stop, because I usually, when I get into a Wheel of Time mode, it's like, okay, this is fucking great. I'm going to keep reading. Wheel of Time is fucking great. Let's go.
Yeah.
I'll get all the way up to book 7 or 8 and then be like, shit, he dies soon. Like, the guy who originally was the author of it, he dies like in like 3 books. I'll take a break. And then by the time I go back to it, I've forgotten everything about it.
The thousands of pages you've already read.
I know the edges of the story.
Yeah.
And it's like, nope, I better go back to the start. And then I do the exact same fucking thing again. It's like, this is amazing. Book 7 or 8, dead stop.
Oh, man.
Wheel of Time is fucking great. Like, genuinely fantastic.
Someday I'll get to it, but because I'm so stressed out by day-to-day life, I'm in a real cozy mystery mode right now, and that is 100% my speed.
How do you feel about high fantasy?
It's really hit or miss for me. Sometimes I'm into it, but I don't know. Fantasy is really hard for me because I feel like this is like counter to everything I'm interested in.
Okay.
But in a book, when you start adding more magic and more dragons and more super powerful wizards, I get really disinterested. And that doesn't make sense with how much I like everything else.
Okay, how about 2 gods and maybe 4 people each side being like the shield bearers for those sides?
Yeah.
Check out The Redemption of Alphaeus.
Hmm.
It's by David and Leah Eddings.
Redemption of Alphaeus.
Should have a picture of a thief-looking dude with a black cat on the cover.
I do. If you're gonna tell me that a fantasy book has a cat in it, that's gonna put it up in the rankings a lot.
That black cat is one of the main characters in that book.
Okay, I will put it on my read list. 704 pages. That's not bad.
That is a very good indicative book for their writing style. And if you like a good popcorn high fantasy kind of novel, I can recommend more from them, specifically 2 series from them.
Okay.
But
yeah, this is nice because it's just a single volume.
It's a one-off, which is a really good example of their style. And then if you like it, then I can point you towards these other series.
Right. All right, before we get started, I'm going to take a quick bathroom break. I'll be right back.
All right. I sit here, vape, and talk to Twitch chat about books, both good and bad. Some books are bad. Some books you can hate. I need to read more. I haven't read enough recently. I need to go back and continue reading. That's probably the thing I'm neglect the most in limited time is how much I can read. Like I end up just not doing it. It's like, oh, I'm sitting here in front of a HD 4K HDR TV. I have an Xbox One X. I know I'm going to read a book. No, fuck off. Although bath season is approaching, which is prime reading time for me. I think that is how I demolished books when I was younger. I would just take them in the bath, read them, and then go through them real quick. So, who knows? Maybe reading time approacheth. Where's my water gone? There it is. Yeah, T in chat points out audiobooks for the win. I agree. My problem is I listen to podcasts. I've got 30 or something on my thing right now. Not including patron stuff, which adds another 20 hours a week or whatever. Especially Banffcast. Those motherfuckers with their shit ton of content for their Patreon. Speaking of which, Bamfcast, where's my next Doctor Who you? Come on, get on with it already. Some of us are waiting. Me, I'm the one waiting. Come on, we all know this. Let's see, how many podcasts do I have? 3, 6, 9, 12. Literally, I have 30 podcasts on my thing right now. Granted, I should probably remove at least 6 to 8 of them, because five of them have actually stopped updating at this point. So while I remember, I might as well get rid of them now, because otherwise they're just going to sit in here like a muppet. But yeah, I love audiobooks, but anybody who ever gives people shit about listening to audiobooks, well, you're not reading, go fuck yourself. You're
still absorbing a book.
Yep.
A lot of people, I feel like, people that say that aren't reading books themselves in the first place.
Yeah, they're not reading, period.
Yeah, so like you can't be judgy when someone's reading an audiobook when you're not reading in general.
Yep. I'm sorry, the TV guide does not count.
Right. Okay, are you ready to get this thing started?
Yep. Enjoy your 30 minutes of Outcasts, everybody.
Yes, exactly. Alright, let's get started in 3, 2, 1. Welcome back to another episode of That Video Game Podcast. I'm your host, Boston, and joining me as always is Moonpier.
Hello!
Real quick piece of news at the beginning. The very latest episode of TVGP's Old Dog New Flicks is available right now for patrons, episode 8. I'll leave it up to you to find out what movie this is, or unless you want to say.
Is that because you forgot? Did you forget what movie it is?
Iron Giant.
There we go.
Yeah. The Vin Diesel voiced super sad movie, The Iron Giant, is available for $5 and up patrons? Yes.
Yes. See, I make this mistake on the show, but I don't run the Patreon. You do.
Well, the
You're
thing
expected
is,
to know.
To me, there's a great amount of value at either the $2 or the $5 level, but the $5 is the real sweet spot. Only $5 a month. Patreon.com/E1M1 to go sign up. The free feed has episode 5, which is Frozen. And I remember that because
that's such a good episode.
Disney immediately flagged the YouTube video for containing any of their songs, any snippet of any length. So reminded about that. But so that's on YouTube and the free feed and all that stuff right now. And coming up this week is going to be a new episode of Dynamic Soundtrack. I think this is episode 8. Yeah, I think it's just a random episode. So. Either a random episode or another side one, track one, which is kind of always a favorite of mine to do, even though it takes forever to create. But yes, dynamicsoundtrack.com for that, and patreon.com/E1M1 yet again. Let's dive into Moonpier's what you've been playing this past week. I don't know where I was going with that. Pass it over to you.
That was like the worst handoff ever.
Pretty much.
You just lateraled it to me, and I've got 10 running backs hitting me in the face.
Yeah, I'd be surprised if I've had a worse handoff than that one.
I'm sure we could find some 500
probably
something episodes.
Episode 8 or something.
Yeah. Oh, I remember re-listening to that stuff. Let me tell you, the audio does not hold up well.
It's a little rough, yeah. But we were talking about that pre-show about it's actually on this week's episode of We Roguelike It for patrons, episode 3. Basically, how hard it is to switch modes from normal person to host, and it took me a real long time to figure out how to flip that switch.
Yeah, normal person to host sounds like a transformer.
Yes.
Or an alien. It's one or the other.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's start off. I played one round of PUBG this week. You know, it's been a long time when you've played PUBG, when you load it up and start getting the achievements since it hit public release.
Right.
So that should give you an idea of how out of shape I was. I actually played 2 rounds. 20th and 10th in squads.
Hey, nice.
It was not great, but not bad. The pro tip for PUBG, if you ever play it, Boston, if you land in the middle of nowhere, you're usually guaranteed a top 30 spot because nobody's around.
Oh yeah, like everyone else is gonna fight off in the distance.
Yep, exactly.
It makes sense.
But I still love PUBG. To be honest, I kind of want to go back and just put a bunch more hours into it because you kind of forget how fun it is and how heart-pounding it gets after you've been doing it for a while, or you haven't been there for a while, and you're running through a field and the circle's closing in. It's one of those things where it's like, oh, I forgot how good this can feel to be absolutely terrified and also, excited at the same time.
Yeah.
So PUBG still good. If you want to play, let me know. Send me a message. I'll play. I've got no problem.
Yeah.
I enjoy PUBG. Let's talk about 2 other games I've got on my list. Shocking. Everybody will know what these 2 games are. So we'll start with the easy one first, which is Assassin's Creed Odyssey.
Mm-hmm.
So literally, here's my notes. My first 3 notes for this, or my first 2 notes. It's so long.
Okay.
It's so big.
All right.
There is.
Yeah, Broken Moon Pier.
A little bit, yeah. So that I didn't. Okay, so it's got a little bit of mainland Greece and it's got a bunch of islands. Okay. I over-leveled on the islands without realizing it and thought, oh well, I'm hunting down some of these deck of 52s, so I'm gonna go explore some of these islands because you get little hints. Oh, this person is on this island, or help people in this area to get more information about who this person is.
Right. Oh, because you're playing it in the new mode where it's not gonna say like this dude's over here.
Yep, I'm playing it the way it's intended, which I think is the best way because then you get led to side missions and 2 places that way. It's a
almost
very
like Assassin's Creed 1, where it's like, they're probably in this area, but you're going to need to go eavesdrop to figure out, sort of close the circle on where they are.
Yeah. Minus the eavesdropping, because everybody agrees that's the worst thing ever.
The one where you, like, sit on a bench and someone talks, that one was fine, but all the other ones were just busted. The
follow the sneaky person through the alleyways.
That's the worst.
Yeah. Oh, yeah,
Good riddance.
That was. But yeah, so I thought I'm gonna go explore some of these islands, try and lower down my deck of 52, which I'm deliberately not referencing what that is because I don't want to spoil it for anybody. I'm pretty sure you know what it is already.
I have seen it, yeah.
Okay, so I'm going through all that stuff, trying to get my upgrades for my thing because it's a thing.
Right.
It's so hard to talk about this in a spoiler-free manner.
Yeah, I feel like we'll be able to talk about it pretty soon, but I know there are still some people that I don't want to spoil this stuff if we possibly can, because not everybody's gonna play this game absolutely day one and like put the 100 hours into it the first month. So
yeah, we're not all community member T-Bomb Rocks or my wife,
right?
Who have both beat the main campaign on this game already.
That's crazy.
So yeah, they both did it aiming for my second game, which we'll get to.
Right. Just write that down already.
Yeah, you might as well.
Yeah.
So, as I'm exploring these islands and I'm doing some boaty stuff, and it's really fun, and it's got the cleave ability now, which I don't know if I've mentioned on the show.
I don't think
so. Basically, if an enemy ship is weak enough or you are overpowered enough, if you do the keep hold of A and charge to ram at somebody when you're in the boat, but if you do that and it's on their side, you literally split them in half.
Great. That's
and
awesome.
that ship is out of the fight.
That's really good.
It's amazing. I got an achievement called Wrath of the Amazons for doing that with a crew of full women, nothing else.
Nice.
So, really pleased with that moment
really
at least. I'm at the point now where I have... It's the thing... I don't know if you remember me talking about it when we talked about Origins. I mentioned how at first the eagle feels useless.
Yeah.
And then you do a bunch of synchronization points and then it's like, oh, I'm at a base, pop to the eagle, look down, everything gets spotted without even moving, and then come back down. I'm at that point now in the game where I am 6 levels away from the level cap.
Oh, wow.
I've still got 7 islands to explore.
What's the level cap? Is it 50?
50.
Okay.
Level cap is 50, but I'm assuming it's going to do what Origins did, where it's just going to keep filling that bar up
Yeah.
and then giving you skill points so you can further expand your skill tree. I've got my style down. I know my build. I know my combat preference because it does the same thing where it's hunter, warrior, and assassin type of damage.
Right.
So I know my skills. I know what I'm aiming for. Right now, it's just about having fun, going around, meeting new people, meeting these side stories, exploring the different islands and stuff like that. And it's something I will praise Origins for till the end of days is the main campaign in that game and the side missions felt genuinely amazing to play.
Mm-hmm.
There was always that little thing in Origins where it was, oh, this is a person with a side mission that specifically has bandits in a cave. Go kill the bandits. But then that usually leads to more information and a different quest line rather than just go slaughter these people.
Right.
As correctly pointed out by my wife, I think it was in last week's show, the side missions in this are the ones with the black boxes with the gold trim and the gold exclamation mark.
Mm-hmm.
If it's just a black box, that is a randomly generated mission, which is usually hot garbage.
So there's no real impact on your game. It's just, do you need a little bit XP, a little bit, some drachma?
Yeah, do you need some drachma? Do you need some XP? How are you doing on wood? You know,
Yeah.
do you need some extra wood?
Right.
I've got this sweet 500 olive wood if you go and deliver this message to this person who's 200 meters away.
Right.
So those are the same old trite that they are in any game of this kind of style, where it's just randomly generated. Here you go, have some fun.
Here's your
kind of
crafting
thing.
materials.
Yeah. The side missions in this continue to impress. Very much carrying on from Origins. There is, I think it's not Marcos, because that's the debug at the start of the game. Mykonos, there's two islands right next to each other. One is a holy island where even spilling blood on the ground is punishable by death, but they will not kill you on the island. Instead, they send you to the next island over where it's okay to spill blood there.
Okay.
And it's essentially like the yin and yang of islands right next to each other.
Right.
Where this is Sodom and Gomorrah and that is, heaven,
Right.
essentially.
There's heaven and Blood Island.
Yeah. The story on those two islands is heart-wrenching and amazing and terrible in so many different ways that it makes me want to now go and do all of these other side missions. I have... How can I phrase this? There are missions in Origins that go beyond the norm.
Okay.
This game feels like it might be leaning a bit more into that side of things. I'm not sure yet. We'll see how that goes. But it's hard to explain. I think I was talking about it with my wife this week, and I was saying to her, like, Origins feels like a much more serious take on the Assassin's Creed games. Like, I love Bayek, but he is a very serious character. He has his moments of levity with kids and with certain people, but in general, he is an Egyptian cop who tries to make the best out of every situation he can and make it for the good of the people. Cassandra is a mercenary who is literally doing what's best for her, while at the same time trying to help as many people as possible.
And having a little fun.
Yeah, and having a lot of fun. Let me tell you about... Again, referencing my wife here, she posted something on Twitter about my Cassandra talking to a hot lady and how thirsty my Cassandra is.
Right.
Let me tell you, that woman knows no quenching. Like, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's so... But the best thing is it's all in the delivery and the expressions, and whoever this woman is, I wish I'd got her name beforehand. She needs to do A, more voice acting, and B, more motion capture acting, because it does look like they've at least done some form of performance capture for her. Because no way could they get the little tweaks right when she sniffs someone and says to them, "You smell." That sniff is not a hand animated sniff. That sniff is somebody sniffing right next to somebody. Like,
I feel like that's more the norm for voice acting nowadays, is doing that performance capture alongside of it.
Yeah, and to be honest, it shows, because you don't get games like the Uncharted series making this the new required norm, because they are so good at what they do at using that and then to express what the actual characters are feeling. But Cassandra is it's hard to explain how much I love her character. Like, I'm torn right now between her and Bayek over who I like more. I probably will lean towards Bayek as a default because he is serious and I am an overly serious person. Like, I make jokes, but I'm not a jokey person by default. My default nature is very serious. If you see me on the street, you're not going to say, "Oh, there's the class clown." You're going to say, "What happened to him?"
Right.
Like, you know?
I looked up her voice actor. It is Melissanthi Mahut.
Yep.
I guess she was in Assassin's Creed Origins as just a bunch of random people. And she's in a bunch of movies, but that is just a bunch of stuff I haven't seen.
Yeah, she needs to do more because she is genuinely amazing. I'm not going to touch Alexandria. I don't care about him at all.
Yeah, he's certainly not your cup of tea.
No, and based on what I've experienced of him, he skip video skip.
Well, having temporary Skype problems. There we go.
Yep. Are we back?
Yeah, we look good.
Okay. I mean, it's Origins. Sorry. Again, I said it again. It's Odyssey.
Yeah.
It's... At this point, it feels weird because at no point have I ever felt like putting this game down.
Wow, yeah.
My next game, I didn't actually start playing until yesterday because I did not want to stop playing Odyssey.
Oh, right.
Literally every time I sat down to switch my console on, it was always, I think I'll play some Odyssey.
Yeah, or like Odyssey's already
great.
Running. Maybe I'll just do like one more side quest.
Yeah, and then that one side quest turns into, let's just clear this island of side quests and then move on, and then I'll play something else. No, it's... to be honest, I cannot recommend this enough. Especially if you were a fan of Origins, like this... I wish I could say more. I genuinely do. And when it comes to, even if we haven't talked about it by then, when it comes to the Game of the Year stuff, I'm going to apologize to you in advance because I am going to need to talk about this stuff in this game.
Yeah.
Because I can see some of the tracks it's going down, and I can kind of predict some things in it.
Yeah.
And it's stuff that needs to be spoken to somebody else about in general.
Right.
I know my wife, the second she beat it, she immediately took to Twitter and was like, somebody tell me you've beat this game. I need to speak to somebody about it.
I have things to talk about.
Yeah. So I don't know. I can't really say too much more without spoiling it, but it's surprising how much this game, even so many hours in, and I'm probably at least 50 in at this point. Yeah. I don't understand how it's still got me as hooked as it does.
Yeah.
Especially now where I'm getting to the point where I can handle myself in any situation. There is no real threat anymore. If I get desynchronized, it's because I accidentally set myself on fire and then didn't put it out in time.
Right. Like you did something real dumb.
Yeah, and I'm climbing to the top of the Mercenary League. I'm like 5 away from #1 now as well in that. Nice. So the only reason I can't beat him is because he is at the level cap.
Oh, yeah.
So as soon as I hit 50, dude's going to get murked as fast and as hard as I can.
Get knocked down.
Yeah, because he's got a bear with him, dude.
Yeah.
A bear.
Well, I mean, why not? That's how you stay #1.
True. But no, I don't know. Assassin's Creed Odyssey. I keep talking about this game every week, and I feel like I'm repeating myself. But for good reason.
Yeah. Go play it.
Because you should go play it.
Yeah.
And honestly, I can't wait for you to get hold of this one as well, because you were talking about the type of books you've been reading on the pre-show and how you've needed that. That's how this feels to me. Because there are some points in Odyssey where, not Odyssey, in Origins where I wanted to put it down just because how serious it got, specifically the alligator section.
Right.
Like there was a couple of moments there where like I kind of need to walk away from this for a moment, whereas I've never felt that once about this game.
Right.
And it's partially because it's not telling an as serious story as Origins did.
Yeah.
But also just because it's kind of a popcorn fun game.
Yeah.
Like, it's weird that way, but you know, we'll see how things go. I have my suspicions.
Yeah.
I need to write them down and put it in a sealed envelope so that I can open them at a later date and prove my point.
Right.
But yeah, Odyssey, it's great. Go play Odyssey, please. Like,
Someday
not like the game needs help, but you know. But the Assassin's Creed Odyssey did give me the perfect transition because they tweeted to the Red Dead Redemption team a really, really cute photo of Cassandra, like side quarter on, arms folded, with a piece of wheat out of her mouth.
Oh, nice.
Back to back with Arthur from Red Dead Redemption.
Great.
Back to back with a piece of wheat coming out of his mouth.
I like
this really
that
cute
more of these
fan
game
art.
companies are doing that.
Yeah. My favorite thing was that they said, congratulations on a really good release. We can't wait to rename our horse Phobos, which is the name of the horse in
Nice.
Odyssey.
That's
So, really stupid reference there. But yes, Red Dead Redemption.
Cowboy time.
Oh boy. So you remember those notes I wrote where about Assassin's Creed Odyssey where it's so long, it's so big?
Yeah.
Let's talk about Red Dead.
How about we just make it longer and bigger?
Yeah. Not helped by the speed of the game, which I'll get to in a little bit, but let's get the obvious out the front first and foremost. Boston, do you like Rockstar third-person open-world games?
No.
You will not like Red Dead Redemption 2.
Everything, spoiler alert for anyone that's listening, everything I have been reading about this game, because I've been trying to read a lot of it to see if this would be something that I should experience, because maybe it is evolutionary to a developer that I have not clicked with in a really long time. And the long and the short of it is no.
100% correct.
Yeah.
So let's get that out the way first and foremost. Yep. This is a Rockstar open world game. If you go into it expecting it to not be a Rockstar open world game, you will be very disappointed.
It is, for every positive and negative, it is a sequel to Red Dead Redemption.
Yep, and a sequel to Grand Theft Auto 5, because there is stuff they've put in here which is amazing. And they pretty much took from 5. Okay, so where to start otherwise other than that? So let's get it out the way first and foremost. I'm playing this game on a 4K HDR TV using an Xbox One X, which according to Digital Foundry themselves is the way to play this game. Yeah,
they're looking at that stuff. There is a... I usually hesitate to say this, but in this instance, it appears Digital Foundry is not infallible, to make mention at the beginning. For all intents and purposes, if you have both of them, you really want to play it on the X. It is significantly better looking and better performing in like a material way.
And let's talk about that.
Yeah.
Odyssey is gorgeous.
Yeah.
Odyssey is amazing. Odyssey is beautiful. It's crisp. It's clean. It's ancient Greece. It's
got that hot HDR.
Yeah, it represents that time period really, really well. Red Dead Redemption 2 is grim. It's dark. It's foggy. It's full of oil in the air and
snowy.
Smoke. And so the snow. I thought snow could not be done better after God of War.
Right.
Yo, Rockstar, make that snow look like SSX.
A couple more years development has helped that snow.
Yeah, like, it's unbelievable how good this game looks.
Yeah.
Like, they use HDR the way it's meant to be used. Like, the color fluorescence, like, just everything about the HDR in this game, it reminds me of Horizon 4. Like, it's all about the color and not about the bright to dark thing.
Right.
This game is unbelievably gorgeous. Like,
It's one of those games where it comes out and it's sort of like, why didn't you put it on PC though? Like, I'd love to see that running 4K on a PC with like everything. Someone has, you know, 4 video cards hooked up together. Like, I want to see what that looks like.
Oh yeah,
to be rich.
Yes, that would be an impressive thing to behold.
Yeah,
it's Rockstar. They do the same thing with PC all the time. They wait 6 years and then release it. But,
or like Red Dead 1, they just don't care enough to put it out.
Yep. But no, it's hard to put into words how much of a game changer this feels like it is.
Yeah.
And I am not going to say one way or the other on their work ethics in regards to the game. I'm just going to try and speak about the game itself.
Sure. I feel like if you listen to the show, we didn't really talk about it last week. If you listen to the show, you probably know our distrust of what Rockstar is saying versus what their employees are saying.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's one of the things that I've been really interested in. There have been two things I've been really interested in when I've been reading a lot of these reviews. One is I appreciate and I really respect a lot of reviewers coming out and saying, I like this game a lot, but I'm having a hard time enjoying the depth of content because it might have meant a considerable number of people work themselves half to death to put more stuff in this game. So that's hard to reconcile. The other thing is, I really like this game, and a lot of it is hot garbage. But it's still a 10 out of 10 because they're saying they enjoyed the stuff that would be deal breakers for me, but I don't want to step on your toes.
Yeah, no. I mean, like you said, it's hard to parse that out. Like it's virtually impossible these days to turn around and for me to say and to have it sound. This is gonna sound really bad, and I don't mean it to sound really bad. When I say this game is gorgeous, I'm not kidding around. Like like
God of War showpiece games.
Yeah, God of War is a beautiful game. This puts God of War to shame.
Yeah,
like the landscapes, the scale, the scope, the lighting, like.
And to be fair, I hope it would, because it's coming out a year later, where you know, tools are better, experience is better with 4K and HDR. You know, like, all the pipelines are better. Yeah,
and they also probably put an extra 0 behind the budget on this game compared to God of War did.
Well, you see, I mean, how much money is GTA 5 making per month? It's making millions of dollars per month. So
yep,
you have money to pour into your next title.
And this is also the first game in the Rockstar history where all 9 Rockstar studios have worked on it at the same time.
Wow, that's impressive. I hadn't heard that.
There is no other game that they've released, because even when 5 was coming out, they still had whatever the Red Dead team was working on this.
Yeah.
And then after 5 came out, they switched to a live team in that studio, but the rest of them went to work on this.
Right.
That's 9 crazy. Rockstar studios working on this thing together.
Rockstar Village.
Yeah. Apparently they have the website up and running now. They did the same thing. I haven't seen them yet, but they did the same thing they always do with Rockstar games, which is the only people in the credits are the people who were there when the game shipped. Yep. Really, really, really poopy business policy there.
I know that's the de facto standard. It's still...
Yeah, when you consider that this game has been in development for how many years now?
I mean, probably since the first one shipped. You know, they probably, as soon as the Xbox One was announced, you know, the PS4 and the Xbox One, they're like, all right, now move all these assets over here. Like, let's get started. Or it's Rockstar, so probably delete all that stuff, start back over.
Yep. But the rumors about the rumors and the statements in regards to the amount of time these people have been working, both good and bad, people who wanted to do it and people who didn't, it shows.
Yeah.
It shows in a lot of different factors. Like, I don't want to talk about it, but I do, so let's just talk about it. So, the big thing about coming out of this was all the little details. specifically one which is controversial
Okay.
/ dumb in a Rockstar way is how can
The
I phrase
horse's
it?
Coinpurse?
Yes. Thank
So-
you.
Every time I see this, I'm immediately brought to one of the Metal Gear Solid 5 gameplay demos where the horse pooped and then a Jeep slipped on it later and like crashed. I just keep thinking like, this is some real Kojima business where like, you didn't need to do any of... The horse didn't even need to have a coin purse.
Nope.
But you put it in there and then it's gonna get affected by the weather. You didn't need to do any of this.
No.
I sort of appreciate you did, but you didn't have to.
On the coin purse issue specifically,
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't matter unless you're deliberately looking for it.
Right.
You are not going to notice that. I have not noticed it because I have not gone deliberately looking at the size of the coin purse.
Not staring down the barrel of the coin purse.
No, I'm not going out with a measuring tape just to be like,
Right.
okay, so
It's 30 pixels now. Let's go to the snow.
Yes, I'm not doing that. I mean, don't get me wrong. I love the fact that the horses poop, and I love that in Metal Gear Solid 5. Like,
Oh yeah,
it was so fun to do that in 5.
there's a poop button in MGS5.
Yes, there is. Whereas in this, it just feels like it's part of that world.
Horses
where,
poop.
Yes, horses poop. There are a lot of horses.
Right.
A lot of horses. And they're going to do what they need to do when they need to do it.
Right. Horses don't care.
Exactly. Horses don't care. Honestly, I'm trying to figure out where to start with this thing. So, let's just get it out of the way. It's a slow game. This is not a quick game. This is not a Grand Theft Auto 5, sprint around the corner with your AK and blow everybody away, get a 5-star wanted rating, and then run away. This is not that type of game.
It's a very deliberate thing, it sounds like.
Yep. I was trying to figure out a way to describe this earlier, and I came up with a cowboy simulation game.
Oh, okay.
Because this is the type of depth that they're talking about when they say how much of a weird open world game this is. Your hair grows, your beards grow.
Mm-hmm.
You can go and get a haircut, and you can choose the different lengths, the different sections of your face. So if you want to take this entire section down to skin, you can, and leave
You
the
can
rest
just have
out.
the big old chops.
Yes.
Yeah.
That will not... You cannot make it longer. You have to make it longer by having it grow.
Oh, okay.
You get dirty.
Mm-hmm.
Your cleanliness as a character affects how the people in the world see you.
Oh, okay. This is some real Kojima stuff.
Yeah, this honestly, if they put executive producer Hideo Kojima on the front of this game, I would not be surprised. The only thing I'm waiting for is a 60-foot horse that walks on 2 legs and has, a 6-shooter in its hand or strapped to its shoulder.
And for some reason, its name is Satan.
Yeah, its name is Satan, and it constantly refers to itself as a cowboy gear.
Right.
But it's insane. Like, this game is genuinely insane.
Right.
Like, the general gameplay is you have your single player story missions, etc., etc., etc. So it flows the way any Rockstar game or any
Standard
open
open
story
world
game
stuff
would. Bad news, Boston, is it has a base building mechanic.
Okay. It's still not pulling me towards it, but I like the sound of that.
I know. I knew it wouldn't.
Yeah.
So you can... When I say cowboy simulation, it's because you can choose to go out and do good, honorable work, or you can go out and be a villain.
Okay. That to me, that's sort of a base level expectation for a cowboy game.
Yeah. So you can go hunt bounties. You can go and hunt animals, sell their skins and their meat and stuff like that. Which, oh boy, no kids around this one, please, because the skinning animation in this thing is brutal.
Is it? It's the real simulation part of the Cowboy Simulator 2018.
Yes, when literally he does the slice down the middle, the peel it to the back while slicing,
Right.
and then the slice underneath. When he does that whole step with every single animal, and it's different for each animal.
So it's not like off screen this time, not where he's like
Oh no,
working down below the camera. It's like, no man, here, you're gonna help me skin this thing.
yeah, you want to see every bit of musculature and flesh that they have built underneath those skins. Then
Right.
yes, you get to see that stuff, and it's especially gross when it's a grizzly bear. Let me tell you that.
Oh wow.
It's hard to know what to talk about with this game because it's a prequel to Red Dead Redemption 1, so it takes place before that. I think my wife said it was like 12 years or so, but I'm doing my best to not read into that too much.
Dutch and his gang without spoiling anything.
Yeah. So you know who is already there. So
Right.
if you have a connection with the first game, you'll see faces and names that you recognize. You know, you'll see a whole bunch of stuff which you know already, having come in from Red Dead Redemption 1.
Right. And it's really the only time frame they could put the game in.
Yeah.
After the first game, I think continuing the ending of the first game would probably not be that satisfying.
No, because the whole point with Red Dead Redemption 1 was it's the death of the West.
Mm-hmm.
And you are essentially the last outlaw in that game. Like,
Right.
you get to the point where you are helping the government deal with the wild, wild West.
Right.
Wiki, wiki, wiki. And then you suffer the consequences therein.
Right.
Whereas this is about the start of the death of the West.
Yeah, it's the writing is on the wall a little bit.
Yeah, and this is a gang that has no home anymore, that has no place to stay because they're on the run.
Weird, it's almost like a soldiers without a home.
Yeah, and they certainly don't have borders because they just run from state to state to state.
Right.
So,
if only they had an offshore oil tank.
well, they might not have an offshore oil tank, but they can certainly steal on land oil tankers.
Perfect.
So, we're getting closer.
Yeah.
If I see a Kojima logo anywhere in this game, I will not be surprised. It's honestly, I don't know what to say. I am sucked into this game in a way that I have not been sucked into a game in a very long time. Like, I love Odyssey, but Odyssey is very much a turn it on, hold right trigger, and run as quick as you can to the objective.
Right.
Stab some fools, collect your bounties, then get out of Dodge and go do it again.
Well, that's the real strength of Rockstar games. If they click with you, I feel like they just have this tractor pull on you where it's like you're so encouraged and so naturally led from point to point in the game that it almost feels like there's too much to do.
Yeah.
But there never is, because you're being led from point to point in a positive way without really feeling like you're being pulled. But the depth of content in there means you can always do something that you want to do at any given point and sort of make that decision to say, like you were saying, how do you want to run your gang? How do you want to build your base? Like your wife in chat says, or you can rob people like a real outlaw. Like you can make that choice to do that how you want to. And I feel like if it clicks with you, it's hard to get out of that game.
Yeah, it 100% is, and it's helped by the fact that the game, not even like look-wise, but sound-wise, it's incredible. Like,
real immersive.
Yeah, which let's talk about that for a brief second here. That's pretty much the word. Like, this game is designed to be an immersive cowboy game. You go in, you do your stuff. There is chores to do at base camp, literally chores. And when you pick up a hay bale and you're moving it from one section to the other, the option to cancel it says cancel chore. Right. When I say simulation, I'm not kidding when I say simulation. So it's super duper immersive. Really, really immersive. The voice acting is really good on all fronts so far. I've met one person who I did not like the voice actor for. Okay. I'm leading into that now.
Okay.
But the characters look unique. They've each got their backstories you're learning about more in depth than you did in the original Red Dead Redemption. And then you walk into the hotel in Valentine, and Jack Patillo is the hotel manager, which is a name that probably doesn't mean anything to you. I can guess from the squint.
No.
Jack Patillo is one of the founding members of Achievement Hunter over at Rooster Teeth.
Oh, okay.
And 90%
shows up in your game.
Yeah. 90% of the time, I have got zero problems with celebrities and things like that being in video games. They're not critics, so there is no conflict of interest there either.
We just talked about 2064. Jim Sterling is in there and did a really great job. So, I mean, we usually don't have problems, except when it goes wrong.
The difference there is the 2064, Jim's performance is incredible. Dan Reichert's performance is hot garbage.
Right. Because Jim Sterling is an actor.
Yes.
Dan
Reichert is a critic.
Thank you. Dan Reichert is... I don't know what he is.
He's the
human embodiment of luck.
Yes. But 2064 is not designed to be immersive. 2064 is a point-and-click adventure game where you can feel and you can emote with everybody. It's not meant to be a "this is my life, I am a cowboy" game.
Right. I'm a cowboy now. Send my mail to the Wild West.
Yes. Or arrest me, please, so I can get this bounty off my head.
Right.
When you walk into a hotel and someone who I very clearly have an association with not a video game actor is in there, that throws me completely out of it.
It'd be like if I was in Red Dead 2 and I couldn't tell anyone, and then like you go into the hotel and I'm like, "Howdy, partner," and you're like, "Wait, is that the guy I record the show with?" Wait a minute.
That would throw me completely out of the loop, and you would get a text message immediately being like, "Dude, what?
Is that you? Wait, what?"
Yeah. The worst part about this is this was pointed out to me by my wife, who noticed it before me because she got there first.
Right.
I don't know if I would have noticed it if she hadn't have said anything, and now I can't not hear it. So, for any Achievement Hunter fans out there, don't go to Valentine, don't go to the hotel, and don't speak to the guy there. Like the ginger-haired guy with the huge chops who's behind the counter. That's Jack. Have fun with that.
Leave him be.
It gets better because there is a mission later. This is not me. This is my wife pointing something out to me. She was running around, and there was an idiotic person who went missing, and his friend was trying to find him, called Gavin.
Oh, no.
And he kept on running around trying to find this Gavin, or Gav, as he was yelling.
Oh, no.
If that is Gavin free, I might throw something. So
throw your disc right out the window.
I can't because it's a hard drive.
Throw your Xbox right out the window. No.
If I lose an Elite controller this week, you know why. That's all I'm going to say.
The new white Elite controllers just came out and they look real good.
Yeah, they do. But it's... Honestly, I don't know what I can say about Red Dead. Like,
it's almost impossible to talk about.
Yeah.
Because it's a Rockstar open world game. There's too much.
Yeah. And I'm in the process of trying to get crafting supplies so I can increase my gear, and I do that by hunting. Well, I need to go and explore to find the spots that the animals are at so I can try and get the right pelts and the right meat and the right feathers, and there's 56,000 different kinds of challenges in the game about herbology and potions and medicine and defense against the dark arts. That last one was a joke.
I was trying to make a Skyrim joke and I couldn't come up with one.
But I mean, if you are playing this game, you know what I'm talking about. Like, you know, just the breadth that is there. I've done like 6 story missions, and I played this game from sun up till sunset yesterday.
Right.
I had 6 story missions in that time. Like, because I'm too busy running around, finding rabbits and shooting them in the head.
Right.
I'm too busy running around trying to figure out how I can get my bounty off me, or how this whole put your mask on, take your mask off thing works, because I don't know.
Right.
There's a person riding down the road in the middle of the night. Do I want to rob him or not? Like, it's every road you ride, every corner you take, I'll be watching you. But also, there's a decision to make. Like, it's so hard to talk about because it's one of those games where you get into it, and like you and me, like it either clicks or it doesn't. For me, this type of game clicks. I loved all of the Grand Theft Auto games and Red Dead, single player wise, from the get go. Like I've always loved them. Rockstar open world games and as I do before today, they don't click. Like they genuinely don't click, and I get it, and it's fine.
My problem with Red Dead 2 is I was really excited to read the reviews, and I've read a lot of reviews this week because I would be open to playing Red Dead 2 if they resolved the control issues.
Nope, it controls exactly like Grand Theft Auto 5. It's a little swimmy, it's a little rough.
To me, that's a deal breaker. Like I felt and still feel that the controls they're okay in Grand Theft Auto 5. I thought they were less than serviceable in the first Red Dead, and that's one of the biggest reasons why I had problems with the gameplay overall in the first one. Between shooting and horse riding and on foot, I thought none of it really functioned well. And they've sort of doubled down on that in Red Dead 2, and then they have extended that into having so many of the movements and the animations and what you're doing minute to minute be very deliberate and take an appropriate amount of time, but not like the skinning stuff. He's gonna go and he's gonna do the skinning animation in total every single time, and I appreciate it. I appreciate that when he lifts up a box and puts it somewhere else, he's gonna move slower and he's gonna put it down deliberately, and it's not gonna skip this animation. To me, I feel like open world games, they deserve better than that. Like, there needs to be this level of get up and go to them that Rockstar, especially when it comes to Red Dead, is just not interested in. And I can respect that they wanted to make a deliberate game. Just literally everything I'm hearing besides the graphic stuff is just antithetic to what I want to play.
Yeah, no, it's one of those things. Like, as soon as I started playing it, like, I mean, don't get me wrong. Compared to Grand Theft Auto 5, I feel like the gunplay is better in a way because you're using Wild Wild West guns. So, you know, of course, it's not as good in other aspects. Because,
and I mean, GTA 5, to be fair, was serviceable at best.
Yeah,
I mean, that was just unlike other GTA games. Cool, I can shoot the guy I'm aiming at shooting. Okay, that at a basic level that works.
And I feel like this has improved from 5. It has improved in that aspect, but everything that might have had issues with previously, that is all still there.
Yeah, and they're sort of digging in on it, which it's fine because people loved Red Dead, and I'm just not one of those people. I'm excited for GTA 6, just not Red Dead 3.
Yeah, and people love Grand Theft Auto too, and it's very similar with that. It's like the animation priority takes priority. Like, that simple.
And for me, when I look at something like Red Dead, which is probably going to be an 80 to 100 hour game to complete the majority of stuff, you know, pulling hours off depending on what you're going to do, I look and I have Assassin's Creed Odyssey, which is a game I'm very excited to play that I'd play instead. And I have something like Dragon Quest XI, which is legitimately, without side stuff, a 100-hour game that I'm also really excited to do. So Red Dead is just something I'm going to be passing on.
No, I mean, that's absolutely fine. If it's not your... If it's not... I'm not saying you're wrong, but clearly you're wrong.
Absolutely.
But, you know, if it's not your style of game, then that's absolutely fine. What you really probably need is a Red Dead Sleepy Dogs. Like,
yeah, or like a Red Dead Horizon Zero Dawn. You know, like those are. I'm more interested in those sort of open world games where it's less about the immersion and it's more about the especially like in Horizon Zero Dawn, it's about that action combat feel. You know, it's more about the combat and the world building as opposed to the world building and the, you know, Cowboy Simulator 2018.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna lie. Like this game, it tickles me in all the right spots.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's got that like feather. It's the scene from Hot Shots where they're tickling the feather on the side of the face.
Right.
It's doing that to me every time I turn it on, and it's going to be very difficult to pass out because I think this is going to be one of those games very similar to Monster Hunter for me, where it's like I don't care about the objectives, I don't care about achievements, I don't care about any of this stuff. I just like being in that world.
Right. You just want to do what you want to do, sort of whenever you fire the game up.
Yeah, and it's like right now it's about learning the basics as well. Like I said, I can put my bandana on over my face every time I steal from somebody, but they still know me, and they still will put a bounty against me, not the bandana wearing version of me.
Right,
and
not the evil you.
Yeah, and I can change my outfit, and that's not going to make a lick of difference. For the record, I am 1 horse down already.
Oh, okay.
Because horses have permadeath in this game.
Yes, that makes sense. Also real life.
Yes. Which, speaking of horses, let's talk about that. The horses are incredible. They sound great. They look great. Blah, blah, blah. Same old, same old. Yeah. You can do drift turns with a horse.
Great.
Hilarity ensues.
Yeah.
There may or may not be a clip of me dead stopping against a tree and going flying over the front of my horse and directly into that tree because the tree hit the tree. The horse hit the tree. I flew over the back of my horse and then hit the tree as well.
Nice.
So there was an ejector seat malfunction in that one. But yeah, I mean, just Red Dead is one of those games. Like right now, my mind is absolutely blown away by it, by how much is in there.
Yeah.
I can see why they've got that much in there.
Yeah.
I can see how they did it.
Rockstar Village at work.
Yeah. I don't know if I approve of it, but it shows, and right now it's a world I am loving being in.
Right.
Like I said, literally I started it yesterday. Yesterday, it came out on Friday, so I kicked up Assassin's Creed Odyssey on Saturday morning, played that for an hour, and I thought, well, I'll start Red Dead because I want to talk about it for the show.
Mm-hmm.
As much as I want to keep playing Odyssey, I'll start Red Dead. I did not stop playing Red Dead until midnight.
Right.
And that was from like 10 a.m. till midnight. So 14 hours of playing Red Dead.
I believe.
And I didn't want to stop by the end of it.
Right.
I did the intro mission. I got my base set up. I started to learn the basics of the game. I started to learn about the different types of jobs I can do. And I just want to keep on playing it. And that's about the highest praise you can probably give games these days.
Yeah, it's still pretty rare.
Yeah, when I'm playing 2 games right now, which I literally do not want to put the controller down.
Right.
That's an impressive feat in itself.
Yeah.
Although, pro tip for anyone out there who is playing Odyssey and debating jumping on Red Dead, keep in mind, while playing Red Dead, A is sprint, right trigger is hip fire.
Okay. Uh-oh. Wait a minute.
Because in Assassin's Creed Odyssey, sprint is right trigger.
Right.
And assassinate is A.
Well, there you go.
So let's just say that there's been multiple instances of me being, I'm in the saloon, I'm enjoying myself, having a little shot of the whiskey, you know, having a good time, talking to people, which the interaction, I don't even want to go into the whole interaction with everybody. Like, you can literally talk to every single person you see.
Nice.
The random encounters, all that kind of stuff, you will have heard that before I started talking about it, so go and listen to other people talk about that if you like, because that would be me talking for another 3 hours about the random interactions with people.
Right.
And we have a show to do. I might talk about that stuff more next week when I have a wider base. But in a saloon, having a nice chat, having fun, talking with people, be friendly, turn around, walk out the door, open it slowly, close it slowly. Now I'm going to sprint to my horse, who's just 5 feet away on the left. Revolver out, bang, 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 bang. Oh, no. Now I have a bounty for disturbing the peace, or for threatening people, or for pointing my gun at people.
Or for shooting another horse.
And now the law are on me, because I didn't press the right button.
Right. So
let's just say there's been a fair few sprint/shoot incidents in Red Dead.
Right.
Keep that in mind, folks.
Right. Remap your brain.
Yes, remap your brain the second you get into it, because I think I've probably done it at least 50 times now. I'm like, oh, hi, partner. Oh, we're going this way, are we? Okay, bang, shotgun in the back. Great.
Wasted.
Yep. Yeah. Red Dead it's one of those games.
Yeah.
It will be talked about for the rest of this year, and I will probably continue talking about it on here too. So,
yeah.
I'll talk more about the social stuff when I've got a better idea on it. But that's all I've been playing. Oh no. Why?
Why do you do this to yourself, Moon? 2018 is too good. That's the problem. It wasn't supposed to be like this. It wasn't supposed to be like this. All right, so I actually don't have a game here for the first slot, but I do. Let's set up a story.
Ooh, story time.
Yeah. So I talked about this pre-show. I think it might be part of Outcast. It might be part of pre-show. I'm not sure. But one of our cats is having some health issues.
This was pre-show.
Okay. So as a result, we're going to build a catio. And we're going to fasten it to the house just right outside one of the windows, and he can live outside and be safe, not have coyote or snake attacks because we live in the desert. So as part of building that, my wife ordered a bunch of pieces parts on Amazon, and they shipped the other day. So I heard the UPS guy, screwing around on the front porch. I promise this is building something. So I go out and
I know what this is building to. It just clicked.
It just clicked.
I don't know why it just clicked.
So I go out to go grab it, and I grab it, and I notice it's larger and heavier than I was expecting it to. So I put it down in my house, and it's not the pieces we ordered. It's a 4K HDR TCL TV.
Yep.
That a very kind person who I don't know if they want me to put their name out there, but they sent me a friggin' TV. So, sent me a TCL 55S405. So, I have spent probably this entire week configuring it and calibrating the picture. I am frustrated because it's still not there yet. My reds are still too pink, and that's going to be it's going to be the death of me, but I'm going to solve it. Yep. But, man, is that a great looking TV? I am really, really happy. The TV's really great. The Roku interface for the menus is really nice. The iOS app to control it is really fast, really nice. It's a really great TV. Really easy to set up, and so I figured, well, let's go through a couple of games and configure HDR, check it out. Now that I know the game inherently at 1080, let's look at it in 4K. I'm running a PS Pro, so of course it's not real true 4K. I don't want to hear it. Everyone knows it's 2160 checkerboard, but I'm not going to say that. It's 4K-ish. So I popped in Assassin's Creed Origins, because I remember you saying that you really enjoyed the HDR. So I fire it up, I get the whole thing patched, I get the whole thing installed, download my saves, because I hadn't played it on this PS4. I fire it up and I go, okay, that looks good. Let's turn on HDR. Turn it on, get the little HDR symbol in the corner, and I go, yeah, that looks okay. Oh, right, I need to configure the levels. So I get in, and thankfully, unlike other games, cough cough, this game has a picture where you slide the white level and black level, so you can tell when the picture looks good, HDR is probably set up correctly. So I drag the bars around and I make the picture look good, and I go, all right, that looks like what I think HDR should look like. Exit out of the menu.
RDR does a very similar thing as well. RDR actually even shouts out how many lumens you should be at for it.
Nice, good. So I exit out of that menu, and immediately I'm like, oh, that's HDR. Oh my goodness.
So you tasted the difference straight away.
Yeah, and I think I'm glad I fired up Origins because there's a very distinct difference between non-HDR and HDR that is very apparent.
Yep.
And I think that was one of the reasons why I put it in there, is just to say, like, all right, I know what this looks like at 1080. It, of course, looks better at 4K. I know what this looks like non-HDR. Oh my god, this HDR looks really good.
Yep.
So that will be my expectation going forward. That more games will continue to let me down on. So we're building to the real letdown here at the end.
Is it Destiny 2? Please tell me it's Destiny 2.
We'll work up to it. So I didn't really want to play a lot of that because I played all of it, and I don't want to buy the DLC, and I want to buy Odyssey. So sort of got rid of that. I haven't played Horizon Zero Dawn or God of War. Those are my next two like showpiece games that I know are good at both 4K and HDR, but I really want to get my set up correctly before I pop in either one of them, especially Horizon, because it's such a colorful game. I popped in Diablo 3 because that's another game I know how that looks in my bones. And doing some research, that's actually a really interesting game because it scales the resolution dynamically to keep the frame rate solid.
Yep.
And that looks really good. It when it scales up to, you know, approaching 4K, it looks pretty good. You know, when it isn't, it still runs really great and looks really great. So let's talk about Destiny 2. Because this is, you know, a game I know in my bones. I figure if I'm going to know the difference...
I think when you close your eyes and blink, you see Destiny 2 in the back
see,
of
like,
your eyelids.
My character screen. If there's anything I know, I will know the difference between these two. First off, the increased clarity of that screen is very apparent for Destiny 2. Just like the little lines and the little dots and everything on all the screens look really great. You know, the maps and the loading screen and all that stuff really improved. Game overall looks a little bit better. I know they're not pushing the graphics of each platform that much because it's a CPU intensive game, as Bungie has said time and time again, so they can't really push it too hard. HDR is totally busted. They have had problems getting HDR to work on the majority of TVs. Side note here, people on the internet, if people are asking how to get HDR working correctly on Destiny 2, don't say, number one, your TV sucks, it should just work, or number two, it sucks, so turn it off. Not acceptable answers, just don't reply. Just go home. Yeah. Just go away.
But that's the problem, dude, is they're at home posting these replies
from like a $4,000 you know, Sony TV, so of course it works for them. You know, they can go in there, they can change the matrix with their remote. Like, I don't have that option. To be clear, though, the Roku app is really great. You can change an incredible amount of stuff from the Roku app that you can't with a remote, and that's really cool.
I might have to look into this. If mine even uses it, I don't know.
If yours runs the Roku interface...
It is a Roku background base.
It should work.
Please tell me it's not just an iOS app.
I don't believe so. Because it controls like every TCL TV and the Roku boxes and all the other stuff. So it should...
Okay, this is actually pretty good because we've run into an issue in our household recently where my wife and I have the exact same TV.
Right.
And the exact same remote.
Yes.
And what you'd expect from two TVs side by side.
Yep. The thing that happened with our two old TVs.
Yeah.
Well, and the great part is if you configure your TV to not go into fully low power mode, you can turn it on with the app. Okay. And it only connects to just the TV you connect it to. So yeah, go download the Roku app.
Sellotape over the sensor.
Yeah, exactly. The problem with Destiny 2's HDR is it gives you two options. The
it's
white
garbage,
level,
so turn it off.
Well, yeah. No,
sorry.
the options are HDR on, HDR off. When you turn HDR on, it gives you when you have it off, the brightness setting is 1 to 7. So it's just your raw gamma. And with it off, it looks really good. It almost looks how you expect HDR to look. So I'm wondering if it's still a little busted. They give you the two options of, you know, white level and black level. Black level works great. White level doesn't change anything. So when you turn HDR on, it is so blown out. And
wow.
I don't understand if that's some compliance thing with the TV versus what Destiny is expecting out of, you know, your connection to your whatever. Doesn't really matter. The black level works, the white level doesn't, so I can't calibrate the image correctly, so I can't use HDR. Yeah. So that's kind of a bummer, but again, not that big of a deal because without HDR, it looks really good. So
I'm guessing this is as well as after you've let the panel set for a little bit, because I know it's something that came up on Twitter. Was talking about, like, my wife said, and mine did the same thing at first, like with Origins. Actually, it was the first game I played with the HDR and the 4K, and the first 2 days it was so blown out because of the panel setting in,
right,
and because it's Egypt, and because it's bright sun beating down on you at all times,
right, reflecting off the sand.
It was like I was running through that white room in the Matrix, where it was just like,
right,
okay, sure.
Yeah, no, it was, I could tell when the panel had started to finally settle in, because the red started getting pink, and I did get more, things got more sharp on the screen. But yeah, just a lot of other people have this same problem too, where either the white level or the black level doesn't work. It doesn't change the quality, it doesn't change any of the calibration on the image, and it's just to that game.
Can you set it in Destiny so the HDR is turned off?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah, the two settings are on and off. If you have it off, it looks great, and you get the normal brightness setting. If you turn it on, then you get the two sliders.
Okay.
So that's a bummer, but I'd like to say I would hope they would patch it, but it has been about 8 months since they patched the HDR, so probably not.
Nope.
And it's not a high priority for them. You know, their game is running without any major issues right now. So why kick the hornet's nest?
Yeah.
I would like it to work, but if it doesn't, that's fine. You know, it still looks really great, and it's not totally blown out. So I don't know what else I can ask for. So I'm really excited to try, you know, God of War and Horizon and Odyssey when I eventually get it. You know, one of those. I'm excited to play a game starting at the beginning with HDR and 4K, and especially Odyssey, you know, where there's more greenery, there's more stuff to it. You know, Origins had that, but it was a lot of desert.
Yeah, it was a lot of desert and sun, so a lot of white and oranges.
A lot of dark caves. Yeah. So, so far, really good. I just gotta get that red level right. I really can't yet. None of the presets online have really matched my set. So
that is something that I will actually give the Xbox One X a whole bunch of credit for. They have a HDR and 4K setup in their
I really wish
dashboard.
The PS4 had one.
It's pretty great, to be honest. Especially for me, like, something I don't actually know if I've mentioned this on the show before, but I have to have my games darker than most.
Right.
Like, brightness-wise, because certain brightness settings on TVs will give me straight-up migraines.
Oh, yeah.
Like, when I first got this TV and I was playing with it, I could play it for about 3 hours, and then I would have to go and sit in a dark room because I'd just get a migraine.
Yeah.
And because I'm so used to dealing with it, it took me way too long to realize, oh, it's the TV brightness issue again.
Right.
So then I have
sense.
to set it so it's a little bit not as bright for everybody else.
Yeah, I really wish PS4 had it. It's a bummer that they don't, but I found a bunch of really good YouTube videos, because the great / bad part about these TVs is every HDMI input can be configured separately with your picture settings and your color gamut and all that stuff. But additionally, to get even more granular than that, the warmth or coolness setting on each input can then be configured separately as well. So
Yep.
unlike most TVs, I can't just like pop in a DVD or like pull up a YouTube video on the built-in YouTube app and configure that, because that's not going to carry over to my PS4. So it's one of those things where...
did.
What's that?
You could do what I did when my wife was setting hers up. She was trying to get it right, and I literally just pulled up my menu. I was like, "There's the settings I use for the Xbox.
Yeah.
Go from there and figure it out."
My panel is pretty different from what I'm seeing online once it's settled in. So it's a thing where it's like, you know, I can get the CMYK, you know, full setup on it, and then start just fiddling around with the colors on it. So it's just a matter of time to say, like, okay, I know, like I posted those pictures on Twitter of Mars and Destiny 2. It's not supposed to be this pink, it's supposed to be more orange, so I can start pulling some of these values down to be where it's supposed to be. So one of these days, getting closer.
You're a tweaker, so
yeah,
it's perfect.
Yeah, like and if it wasn't, the only color I'm having trouble with is red. All the other colors look really, really great. Like really rich, fantastic colors, wonderful sharpness. It's just that red just isn't getting there. So just got to keep filling with those knobs. Let's talk about actual games I've been playing instead of playing with the Roku app. I downloaded this Solitaire game on iOS. Another one of those things where, like, I found a game and a lot of the recommended games looked great, but I don't remember the origin game.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been playing this game called Solitaire Cooking Tower, and I partially downloaded it because those three words don't really go together.
No.
What it is it's a standard Klondike solitaire game on the bottom of the screen. And on the top of the screen, the more games you win of solitaire, the more you're building up this like restaurant tower.
Okay.
It's really weird. And I sort of almost don't know how to explain it, because when you download a solitaire game, you sort of expect, honestly, today you sort of expect it to be like the Microsoft mobile solitaire game, which is fantastic.
Yep.
But to add on top of it this like tower building game is really interesting, but I kind of don't understand why I'm doing it, because there's no story to it at all. And when I mean, it's not like there's no one popping out, nothing. I don't know what I'm doing building this tower.
You naive young child of summer. You're
Yes.
building the tower because it gamifies you playing the game.
I know, but the weird part about it is, without working towards some sort of goal, it feels like it's doing the opposite. Because it almost feels like it's getting in the way of the solitaire, because I'm not, you know, build your tower to level 100. There isn't even that. It's just sort of like when you finish a game of solitaire and you get points, your points are filling up these little bars. When you fill up the bar, a new menu item shows up. And then you keep doing it. But I don't know, am I trying to be like a restaurant mogul? It's working against its favor in this really weird way, where even like there's no real goal to it, and I think that's the confusing part. I would rather go just play Microsoft Solitaire, because then that's just solitaire.
Yeah, that tells you how far games have come in 2018 if you are disappointed by the lack of story in your solitaire game for your mobile phone.
Well, and there's no, I think the real frustration for me is there's no real goal. I'm not working towards is there even like a third floor? I don't know. Like, am I going up to level 50? Am I going to hit a limit at some point? I don't even know, and that's sort of confusing and frustrating, because otherwise I'd be like, I gotta get to floor 50. Like, I just gotta keep playing this game to get to that goal. And when there isn't one, apparently I just freak out.
Yeah, Literally, you just need one box of text saying you need to build this tower to get to 50.
Get to the top.
To beat cake building coin toss over there, and then you'll be fine.
Yeah, I'll do that. Next game, I forgot to talk about this last week, but Pinball FX3, the Midway collection, or Williams collection? That Williams collection. Came out 4 tables. 3 of them don't matter because Medieval Madness is in there. The other ones are like Fishtails and whatever. So I played a bunch of Medieval Madness. Like we were talking about with the 4K TV, I know how it played over in Pinball Arcade. I wanted to compare and contrast that with Pinball FX3 because I clicked with the physics of Pinball Arcade more, but part of this collection, they were saying that they were going to accurately simulate the physics of the tables.
Tell me, is that correct or is that not?
Here's my confusion. So I started playing Medieval. It has a good ending. I started playing Medieval Madness, and it felt good. It felt sort of in between where I would say Pinball FX3 and Pinball Arcade. It sort of felt like there was a middle ground there.
Yeah.
And the table is faithfully recreated. It all looks good. It all sounds good. I get the frustration that people are experiencing with the censoring of the table. It's a good time to remind everyone that censoring is different from censorship. Keep that in mind. They have censored portions of the table, like drinking a lot of beer or cigarettes or a lot of like low-cut tops, because Pinball FX3 has an E10 plus rating. All of that would have pushed it into T, and they can't do that. Like they can't, recategorize their game because that it breaks so much stuff. So they had the hard choice of either don't put it out or pull out some of this stuff, like repaint some of this stuff. Not that big of a deal. The game is largely unchanged. There's just a couple of tracked screens that are a little different. So that's a bummer, but I get it. It's fine. Where my confusion really lied was I got a multi-ball, which you are wont to do in Medieval Madness.
That's the whole point of that table.
Right. And the dragon leapt off of the table and started flying around and started lighting the balls on fire. Okay. And I was like, okay, that's not the authentic sort of experience that I was expecting. What I didn't realize is, because I hadn't played it in a while, so they really pushed me into, at the beginning, play one of those like 2 or 3 minute matches against someone else, and then go play Medieval Madness, it's brand new. Once I was done with a couple of playthroughs of those, it then took me back to the Medieval Madness menu, and there is a Pinball FX version of it, and then what they call a classic single player mode. That is Medieval Madness. There's none of those extra effects. There is none of the extra table stuff, and the physics are changed, so it feels much more like how an actual arcade table feels. It might be the weight of the pinball might be a little bit heavier than Pinball Arcade is, so it's taking me a little bit of time to get used to it. But I feel like that mode is the one you really want to play. It's not... I'm glad they have the table's alive and it's doing stuff. Like, that's fun. But you still have just your standard Medieval Madness experience. And I think that's pretty good. I think it was either 10 or 20 bucks for all 4 of those tables, which, coming from Pinball Arcade, that's really cheap. So, yeah. Comparatively. But yeah, I think the biggest thing I can say is that classic single-player mode feels like Medieval Madness by and large, and I think that's really great. So
that's good to hear. I do have to pick that up at some point.
Yeah, and Pinball FX3 is still fun. There's 400 million tables across about 50 different companies. They're all really reasonably priced, and the I wish the interface was just a little bit faster going from screen to screen. I feel like that would really make the game greater, but Pinball FX3 is a good experience. I like it. It has a table for everyone.
Yep.
So
definitely.
Yeah. I played a little bit more Forza Horizon 4. A lot of that was checking out the TV, which I have a launch Xbox One, so I definitely don't have 4K, and I don't have HDR. So I'm not really getting any bells and whistles. But there was a big patch that came out to fix a whole bunch of bugs, and it introduced a new story mode, which I haven't tried. Another one of those like 10-chapter story mode things.
Yeah, one of the orange things.
Yeah, and it's celebrating Britain's greatest cars, something like that.
Okay, so off the top of your head, name 3 British cars.
The Mini Cooper.
There's one. That's my wife's favorite car, so yeah.
9 more of those. But I'm super not a car guy, so I would have no idea.
Name 2 English car brands. Not English anymore, but they used to be.
I don't think I can do that, no.
James Bond drives them all the time. 2.
Aston Martin.
There's 1. And the other type of car that James Bond drives. Chat. It's a wild animal. It's a cat.
Jaguar?
There we go.
See, I'm so not like you're like hitting my 2 weakness things. Number 1, movies, and especially weak as cars. Like I know, like in high school, you always knew those dudes that were like, oh, look at, like they have this picture in their locker of like a McLaren, and it's just like, oh, look at this car. And I'm like,
they've got the Lamborghini Aventador pin up on the wall.
Yeah, and I'm sort of, I've never been that dude. Like cars are fine. I like racing games because I get to see all these cool cars, but you ask me, like, if you put a car in front of me, you're like, what brand is this? And I'm like, I don't know. I couldn't tell you. Unless it's like a Honda, then like if you put a Lotus in front of me, you're like, what's this? And I'm like, yeah, it's a cool looking car. It's weird. I don't know.
What's the 4 circles? Or the 5 circles? No, it's 4. What's the 4 circles? Let's just put this to the test. There we go. Yes. You know how you know that? Because anytime you see one on the road, it's driven by a D-bag.
Yes. How do you know BMW, too?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Also, their logo is literally their name, Boston. Come on.
Well, yeah. It's also because I watched that You're the Man Now dog movie. They also added, you know, when you pick a race, and it says, do you want to use your current car? One of my biggest problems with Forza Horizon 4 that I feel like wasn't a big issue in 3 and earlier ones is I wish more events would push you out of the car you're currently in.
Yeah.
Because I feel like that wasn't... I feel like I'm living in one car in 4, and I liked it in previous ones where it's like, well, this one, you're going to be racing hot hatches. It's like, okay, cool, let's go buy a cool one because I don't really have those. Or you're going to be racing, you know, very heavy 4-wheel trucks. It's like, oh, okay, cool, I never races those. That's sort of fun. They added another option separate to the blueprint races. I think you can specifically make longer tournament races now.
So championships are back, is what you're saying?
Yeah, but the way they
no championships are back. No,
but they're not. No. Championships aren't back in each race on the map. But I think you can make one when you go in and race like a tournament with your friends. That's okay then. Yeah, so it's weird because they were like making a big deal out of this in the patch notes, and I went in and I was sort of like, where is it? What's going on? And then I did the prestige race for the dirt races. You know, they're all called like the Abyss or the Trial. And the Titan. Yeah, the Titan. You know, they're all called one of those. It was like a 20-minute long dirt race. That was fun. Yep. I did the one for the off-road. That was the Titan. That was a 20-minute long off-road race. Yeah, and it's like, those are fine, but they're not really the pinnacle prestige event I sort of wish I wish that they were. But you'd almost kind of hope for a showcase. Yeah, like if there was like some showcase event, right? Maybe if I wasn't racing a car, Like a train. That's too crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. And last but not least, let's talk about Castlevania Requiem.
Let's not.
This is
Move on.
the 2-pack of Symphony of Night and Rondo of Blood. I am terrible at Rondo of Blood. Rondo of Blood is a really great game. It's probably, I would say it's the best pre-Metroidvania classic Castlevania game. I feel like that's probably the least controversial statement I'll say in today's show. Symphony of the Night has some issues that are fairly easy to patch.
Wait, are we talking about OG or are we talking about this release?
This release. There are some weird issues. There's like punctuation missing, especially if it's at the end of lines. Like they're just dropping periods, commas are in the wrong place. Some really weird stuff. I do have to say, the menu is bare bones to get into the 2 games, but that doesn't really matter because you're in it for like 10 seconds. I really like the different screen options they have. By default, it's just native resolution. It's a 4:3 smack dab right in the middle of your screen. They have like 6 different wallpaper options. One of them is walls around the screen, and there's a wall chicken that's been exposed, which is really great.
That's pretty good.
I opted for just the black background, no background. You can blow up the screen a little bit. It keeps the, as far as I can tell, someone will probably correct me on that. Please do if you can. The ratio of the pixels is the same, so it just takes the square and makes it a bigger square.
Yeah. So if it's 2x2, it becomes a 4x4, and then 2 white blocks becomes 4 white blocks, 2 black blocks becomes 4 black blocks,
exactly.
1 gray, 2 gray, so on and so forth.
And you can stretch the image if you want, if you're a monster. You can do that. Those are the only real options. They do have scan lines, which look really good. Not my favorite thing in these games, though, but there are instances where you want it. They have interlacing, which makes the screen flicker like crazy. I don't know where you would use that. That's really weird. And
I wonder if that's a PC thing. Like,
only thing I could think of is it's on an arcade cabinet, where like you're using a CRT. But
yeah, true.
I like that it's in there for the people that need it. I can't think of a reason you'd use it. And then, of course, they have the smoothing filter, which please don't use. This game is beautiful. Both games are beautiful. I now understand why they didn't have the original voice acting and the original translation. It's because both of these are the PSP games, which they could have come out originally and said, oh, we're just porting the 2 PSP games because the Rondo of Blood... So, for anyone that doesn't remember, the Dracula X Chronicles is the PSP game that had the redone Rondo of Blood, which was bad. They did that like 3D polygonal one. And unlockable, you can unlock the 2 games. They just took out the bad 3D thing, and you can just pick the 2 games. So, I appreciate that they did that, because there's extra content in Symphony of the Night and a couple of little fixes that make that a worthwhile version to port over. Would have been nice if they would have emulated the PS1 version of the... since this is only on PS4, it would have been nice if they would emulate the PS1 version of Symphony of the Night in there as a bonus. Even if you could unlock it later, that would have been really nice, but I get it. Konami doesn't want to make video games, so fine.
Yeah, they don't want to make video games, and they want to make as much money as they can, putting in as little effort as they can.
Yep.
So here's this 2 free things that you got with this other thing that you paid for. Let me take away the previous thing that you paid for so you can pay for the 2 free things we give you.
And honestly, paying the $20, or it was like $15 with a pre-order, to get rid of the bad version of Rondo of Blood is well worth it.
Well, I would just like to officially state on the record that you are a monster for paying for this thing.
I was primarily interested in how they ported... I like the PSP version of Symphony of the Night. Removing... Here's the thing. I don't have a problem with Konami having retranslated Symphony of the Night. The original version feels a lot like amateur Shakespeare in the Park. It is way... The text is way overdone, and it's this like maudlin sort of thing.
Yeah.
Retranslating it, I think, is not the sin of the PSP game. The real sin is the screen ghosting, but that's more the PSP's problem. The real problem I have with the PSP version is the voice acting. Not to say the originals was great. It's great because it's overdone and cheesy. It matches that translation really well. The real problem I have with the voice acting in the PSP version, the second version, is it's boring. It's just this like straightforward, almost sleepy reading of this text. And I think if they had come out and they'd really had some fun with it and hammed it up a little bit, they could have translated that text into a really interesting performance that would have smoothed over a lot of the frustrations. But
yeah,
I think when you look at the game itself, I think the PSP version is probably one of the better versions. It reduces a lot of the slowdown. It reduces a lot of the bugs that even the 360 version still had. It keeps the bad cutscenes, which I think is fun. Obviously, I think the PS1 version is probably the one you really want to go for. It controls the best. It has that cheesiness. It has some bugs. But I think if you've never played Symphony of the Night before, I think you want to look at either this version is fine or the 360 version that's backwards compatible. That's probably the best modern version you can get. But this one also has Rondo of Blood, which is one of the best Castlevania games of all time. So to me,
it was Symphony of the Night before Symphony of the Night. Yeah,
to me, this package really is the best pre-Symphony of the Night Castlevania game, and one of the most well-known, probably not the best Castlevania Metroidvania game, but one of the most well-known, and one that's really required reading. So it's a positive and negative. I think the price is right for two really great games. 15 out of the gate would have been a no-brainer. 20 is a little bit too pricey, especially if you've played them. But I think the outrage over the PSP version of Symphony of the Night is a little overblown. It's not the best version. If you've never played it, go play Symphony of the Night. It's still an incredible game, even with some sleepy voice acting. And you get to play Rondo of Blood, which is incredible. But what I really want Konami to do is take all of the Game Boy Advance Castlevania games and put those out on modern consoles, because so many people missed those.
Oh yeah, and slight problem with that. That is more work than they would be willing to do. 100%.
And I feel like that's the only reason why we got this version, is because it sounds like Konami just tossed a bunch of source code at Sony and said, oh, you guys want it, you figure it out. Sony's like,
and Sony went snip, snip, done, done. There we go.
Yeah, instead of emulating, bringing forward PS1 emulation onto the PS4, they just redid a game entirely from the PSP, which, sure, that makes sense. But yeah, I really wish, I really wish there was a way that they could port the 3DS or the DS games to modern consoles, but that first DS game relied on the touchscreen so much to draw the sigils that I don't know how they would do that.
Hi, Switch.
Yeah, like you want on the Switch, of course you have the sort of crummy touchpad on the PS4, but that's not really how you want it. The only thing I could think is when you need to draw a sigil, you push a button to switch to the other screen, you draw it with your analog stick, and then you switch back. But that's not a great experience either. It's a hard problem.
Yeah.
But I want more people to play those games, because I feel like so many people played Symphony of the Night, which is great, and then it skipped everything until the HD game that came out on 360, which was also great. But there's like 7 games in the middle that are all really outstanding. Circle of the Moon is not going to hold up, to be fair.
No, those first 3 are incredible, though.
Yeah. Ah, man. Yeah. I just love Castlevania.
Me too.
I'm really bad at the original Castlevanias, and I really like the Metroidvanias. So, what are you going to do? But that's all I've been playing, so let's take a break.
Let's. Bathroom.
It's been a real long episode. Hello to everyone in chat. As Moonpier shuffles his old bones to go to the bathroom. Let's check news stories. I only have 16. I don't know what that is. I'll save that to read that later. Red Dead Redemption 2 app buries seeming PC hints. Sure. Parameter companion auto connect IP PC. There you go. That's what it is. Silent Hill Shattered Memories. Is that getting a re-release? Probably not. I'd love to play that game. 2 Point Hospital is getting a sandbox mode. Hell yeah. That's another game. I need to add that to my games I missed this year list. 2 Point Hospital is... Let's see how much that is now. It was like $30 when it launched, I think. Nope, not Toe. Point... 2 Point Hospital's not on GOG? Seriously? I don't know about that. 2 Point Hospital. It is $35. Yeah, God, that's just so much money. I really want to support them, though. That's the hard part. Oh, Sega published that. Interesting. Oh, God, it looks so good. I feel like if I play that game, I really need to stream it. Sure. Maybe I'll treat myself to that for Christmas. Alright, so let's open up my top 10 list here. And let's add this into games I missed. 2 Point Hospital. Moon and I were talking about this list of games we missed before we start recording. Mine currently is Shadow of the Tomb Raider, which I feel like it is impossible for me to get to in 2018. Assassin's Creed Odyssey. This is the Police 2 because it's $40. Life is Strange 2 also gets us $40, and then 2 Point Hospital, which I don't know when I'm going to get to. I have a new game to add to our games we missed in 2018 list, Moon. Okay. 2 Point Hospital.
Oh, fucking hell.
Yeah, because there's a patch that's coming out soon that's going to add a sandbox mode, which is great. But I just looked it up and it's $35, which is not great.
Similar problem we have with
everything else on our list. This is the Police 2.
That's the one.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Evil Within is getting another big patch. That's nice. Evil Within 2, sorry.
It was meant to be really good. Wasn't that last year?
Or like January of this year. Let's look.
I apologize to everybody who's getting it into this god-awful fucking noise in the Outcasts.
Oh, that was October of last year. Yeah. I felt like it was one of those games that like slipped in January.
Yeah, but it's fucking meant to be amazing.
Yeah, I heard, you know, for all the issues the first one had, that almost all of them were resolved for the second one.
It's always good.
Yeah.
Shame it didn't get more love, but still good.
Yeah, I think with Resident Evil 7 coming out, I mean, what's going to compete with, hey, Resident Evil's back, and it's good again? People are like, oh, hello.
Yeah, Resident Evil's back, and it's not just good again, it's fucking phenomenal again.
Yeah. I didn't realize Games Done Quick is having a little short thing going on right now. Games Done Quick
Child's Play?
For TwitchCon Charity Plaza? What is this for? Oh my god, Kotaku. Yeah, what is this? I don't... When is AGDQ 2019? January 6th. Okay.
What was with the big sigh?
Cause Cast Foundation. I just want to find out what this foundation is for, guys. Okay.
It's a shell
company. Apparently I'm not going to be able to.
It's a shell company. Don't go down that rabbit hole.
It is apparently a charity. of some sort, helping somebody with something. They're doing Super Mario 64, which I feel like those are good speedruns, but I don't know if I've heard anyone doing anything super crazy with it lately.
No. All the best speedruns, I think, are the ones that are games that you know.
Yeah.
Like games that you personally put 20, 50, 100 hours into back in the day.
Yeah.
And just like, fuck, he just beat Super Mario 64 in 7 minutes.
There's occasionally there's the opposite of that where it's a game that's so obscure but so crazy. But as long as they have good commentators, I feel like that's what makes some of that stuff really interesting.
Oh yeah, like a Bubsy 3D speedrun or some shit.
Oh god, yeah, some of that was crazy. There's gonna be in the 2019 one. There's gonna be a Hollow Knight one that I'm really looking forward to, because apparently there's some crazy stuff you can do with that game.
0.01% speedrun.
Yeah. Well, and that's one of those games too where it's just like this person is crazy good at this game. Like they're not breaking the game, they're not doing anything nuts. It's just they're just really good at this video game.
Yeah, it's not Ocarina of Time where they're literally like breaking the physics system to try and get over a fence or shit like that.
Mario 64 like scooting on his butt at 200 miles an hour. That stuff's cool too, but like sometimes you can just look at someone playing a game super well. It's like, God, this guy's just fucking good.
Yeah, I always just laugh at stuff like that because it's like, this is ridiculous, and I love it.
Yeah.
Like, the best clips for me, I feel bad for developers with, like, the new generation of consoles, like, when they released do a quick clip functionality. I wonder if all developers just took a huge deep, oh, shit. Because that's when you get bugs, and that's when you get physics breaking, just getting immediately clipped and shared.
And I love the counter to that, where some devs, I don't remember, maybe it was Pyre, that they had. There's been a couple of them over the last couple of years too, where they'll have like a speedrun mode, where it's not just like Spelunky where the interface changes, but it's also like speedrun mode has some of the old bugs in it that are advantageous for speedruns, but the normal mode, they have all that stuff fixed. I think that's really cool.
Yeah, stuff like that's actually a really cool little nod to speedrunners, because then it's like, okay, we get it. You know, you bring exposure to our game, and by fixing it, we are
made your life harder.
Yeah, like sometimes we take the joy out of it for you a little bit. So we're gonna fix it for everybody else, but for you, we'll leave it in this specific mode, just so you can have your fun.
Just for you.
Yeah. Make you feel special.
Yeah. All right, I'm ready to start whenever you are.
Give me 1 second here.
Beep boop boop beep beep. What are you doing, by the way? It's all off screen.
Vape-related shit.
Vape maintenance.
Yes.
Excuse me. Twist that back on. Put that seat back on. Hashtag vape maintenance.
I think you'll find it's pronounced vape maintenance.
That's right. Steam's hottest game of 2018. Vape maintenance simulator.
Yeah.
Actually, I feel like that would be a VR title.
Yeah, and then you'd be a tiny person. It'd be like this huge fucking vape thing, like the size of a house, and you've got to figure out a way to maintain it. That's actually pretty good idea.
Let's do it.
Hashtag today's date. Nobody steal my idea, you idiots.
Right. Copyright.
Okay, ready whenever you are.
All right, let's get started in 3, 2, 1. Let's talk releases for the week of October 29th, 2018. Dream Daddy Director's Cut comes out on the PS4. That's a fun title that maybe someone should have said out loud a couple more times. Maybe.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
Although I can't help
get it.
I love those type of like remastered edition. Great.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. Definitive Edition.
That's probably my favorite one because it's bad and dumb in a way that's really great.
Yeah.
Yeah. Lego Harry Potter collection comes out on the Switch and the Xbox One.
Nope. Go away. Get thee away from me, Satan.
If you haven't played these before, I really like both of these games. I think both really of them are very solid. Maybe not
genuinely
my favorites, but
games.
Yeah, they're really good. Speaking of getting away from me, Satan, literally, Diablo 3 Eternal Collection comes out on the Switch. Stay strong. Stay strong.
I'm not the one in danger here. It's you, it's Harlow, it's Mackie, it's all you Diablo fiends. Hannah, yeah. Soulman, probably.
I'm not at risk of this because I don't have money. So, and this is not like $20. So
I don't have a Switch, so
yeah, you're immune.
Yeah. Which, please, Tropico developers, do not do that to me.
No.
Thank you very much.
No, yeah. That doesn't. You'll have a bright Switch next to you in bed.
Mm-hmm.
El Presidente!
Yep.
Stardew Valley is out on iOS. I think it's $7. It's a pretty reasonable price. Apparently it runs and works really great. So
that's good to hear.
Yeah, I'm still resisting. I'm not ready to go down that rabbit hole yet.
Don't. It's a rabbit hole you won't come out of. I know you.
Not until my crops are done. They're never done. Save Me, Mr. Taco comes out on the Switch. This is a game I've been looking forward to for a while. I think Devolver Digital is publishing this.
Okay, now I'm interested. I was laughing at the title, but as soon as you said that, I was like, okay.
This is a platformer that sort of looks like maybe it's a little bit of open world 2D platformer where you play as a octopus, but it's styled after a Game Boy game. So it has that sort of like two-tone look on it.
Yeah.
It looks pretty cool. I'm keeping my eye on this one. This could be kind of fun. Also coming on the Switch is the Yomawari The Long Night Collection. This is probably where I'm going to finally check out these games. These are 2D isometric horror games come out of Japan, and they have a sort of cute art style that when the demons and monsters come out is maybe not so cute anymore. These are supposed to be pretty good. I don't often play horror games, but I've heard nothing but good stuff about these, so maybe we'll play on the Switch where it's real tiny.
Yeah.
It'll still scare me because I use headphones, so...
As far as I'm concerned, Mysterious Benefactor needs to demand a stream of Alien Isolation. I need that in my life. I need you.
My heart doesn't
face cam.
Just sobbing in the dark with headphones on.
I would imagine you would run that game backwards.
Probably, yeah.
Like
so I can't
literally turn away and then move backwards.
If I can't see them, they can't hurt me. No, thank you. Transistor comes out on the Switch. If you haven't played that, both Bastion and Transistor are out on the Switch now. They're both really good games.
Transistor's the USB knife one, isn't it?
Yes. Yeah, the redhead lady with the crazy USB key sword.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one. Machinarium is also on Switch, that cool 2D puzzle game with the robots.
Move on.
Have you ever played that?
No, I don't. I need to stay away from it.
Yeah, I haven't played it. I've heard it's really great. It's like 2064. It's sort of like a callback to classic point and switch games.
Point and switch. That's a really good rebranding for point and click adventures on the Switch.
Yeah. Crap. And last but definitely not least, Heavy Burger is coming out on PC and Switch. It's coming out to other platforms. What seems to be like the first week of January. I just heard about this game. Basically, a developer made a Nidhogg-like game by remixing Data East games. So Heavy Barrel, Burger Time, Side Pocket, Bad Dudes, like all those classic games. But you're playing Nidhogg, where you're moving from screen to screen to try and get to the very end, and you're pushing back and forth. But it's with crazy, like you're fighting Burger Time pickles that are coming at you and fighting against the other person at the same time.
I did not realize that the Dead Rising 3 DLC had been re-released.
It's bleeding.
Yeah.
This looks really, really, really cool. I watched Giant Bomb play it. Hoping they do a full quick look for subscribers for Giant Bomb. It's a part of the Unprofessional Fridays this last week. It looks really great in the way that Nidhogg does, but with about 10 times more chaos.
Mm-hmm.
And I like that.
Which
looks really great.
Really quick, just to rewind back to you being big wussy scaredy pants.
Yes, that's me.
Have you seen any of Giant Bomb related? That's why it brought me back to it. Have you seen any of Abby's Frights
Friday
series?
Night Frights, I think it is.
Yeah.
I've watched a couple of them, and I feel badly for her. She's as much of a chicken as I am, and they're strapping that VR headset on her, and that just seems mean. And then Vinny starts messing with her.
I need you to do the Alien Isolation thing.
I don't want to cry on stream.
There was something so hilarious about her blood-curdling scream, followed immediately by everything's fine.
Everything's fine. Everything's good. Yeah. All right, let's move on to news stories. First up, this is a weird one, and I really wish we had more details about it, but Microsoft CEO Satya Nadella said Xbox Game Pass will eventually be coming to PC. But wait.
It's already there?
Yeah. This is the point of... Basically, he said that and then just, like, peaced out. So, I think what they're trying to get to, and what'll be sort of interesting, is the Xbox Game Pass is on there now as part of the Xbox app on Windows 10. Mm-hmm. And like that's where I have Forza Horizon 4 and all that other stuff. And that's the one everyone's used. I almost wonder if they're going to bring that as a separate app in Windows 10 that also has PC exclusive games on it. That's the only thing I could see.
Yeah, so I think you're right. I think he's basically trying to pimp out the fact that they're going to try and get the library up to parity. Maybe not the same games, but up to parity on PC. Right. Which, I don't know, that might be a really good reason to, let's say, buy a PC developer, such as...
Right. Well, the only other thing I could think that this might mean is that they somehow get Xbox 360 emulation natively working in Windows 10, as opposed to now where you can stream it from your Xbox One to your PC. Mm-hmm. That could be a fairly big thing, especially for PC players that maybe don't have consoles or are anti-console and they want to play the Gears of War, 5 games, or Pentology, maybe.
I think they're already on PC.
Oh, well, oh yeah, because they remastered a bunch, some other series. Crackdown 3, maybe, who knows. Sea of Thieves on PC?
Yep, it launched PC on Xbox.
See, that's the hard part about them saying it's coming to PC. Half of the stuff is already there and on Xbox Game Pass. So it's sort of like, what are you bringing to my PC?
I think he got his words mixed up. I think he's probably talking about parity-wise, like, we're trying to get a library for the PC as well.
Right. And that'd be great.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Next up, this is a news story I didn't think I would care about until I started reading more into it. Twitch is going to be bringing out this app/platform called Twitch Sings, where it's a karaoke live stream service where you can also interact with your chat and there's all the fun Twitch interactions.
Is it sponsored by Ubisoft?
No, better. It's being developed by Harmonix.
Okay.
Yeah, when I heard that, I was like, oh, okay. So this could be something pretty interesting. Because Harmonix is doing the Drop Mix. That's their current big project, which seems to be actually doing really well for them.
I think it's very much like the original Guitar Hero, very much like Dance Central.
Yeah.
It's one of those things where it's like everyone makes fun of it until you start playing with it, and then you're like, oh no.
Oh no, I'm buying card packs. Crap.
Yep.
Yeah. So there's not a lot of details about this. They have signups open for a closed beta. Probably actually going to be open beta because you're going to be streaming it. But I think Twitch's platform, which is largely great on an interactive level, pairing that with Harmonix's music experience, I think that could be really pretty cool.
Yeah.
Nothing I will go and sing on the internet with, but That's not. Moon is vigorously shaking his head. No, I don't think that's.
No, as our $2 patrons can tell you, Moon can't sing.
Yes, yeah, and I'm not. I'm not going to be tearing up the stage myself either. But that's cool. I'm excited to see where that goes. And kudos for Harmonix. They're continuing to get work that, in this case, seems pretty big. That's good
that seems huge for them.
Yeah. And last but not least, Alan Wake. Alan Wake was removed a while ago for some music licensing issues. It's now back in digital stores, completely unaltered.
Yep.
Which is great.
Did you see who they shouted out to on Twitter for this?
I did not.
Microsoft.
Right. Yeah, Microsoft helped them negotiate those licenses.
Yep, they were publishers on the first game, so
right
after the licenses expired, they've gone back out and used their connections to speak with everybody and say, look, this is a good game.
Yeah. Well, and it's especially surprising because when, Rockstar, who has more money than anyone else, thanks to GTA 5, put back out like Vice City and GTA 4 and some of the stuff when their licensing issues came up, they just pulled those songs out. They didn't even try and relicense. It's like, you of all people have the money.
And they have patched Grand Theft Auto 4 and 5 at this point to take music out where the licenses expired, I believe.
That sucks. That sucks a lot.
It just sucks a lot, but I'll be honest, it wouldn't surprise me if this was Nico from GTA 4's fault.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he was notoriously unhappy with the amount he got paid, considering how much the game made.
I forgot about that.
So they might have just taken the approach of, do you want us to want to relicense the music? No. Add another 0? No, you're out the game.
Right. All right, let's move on to questions. Death2K on Discord says, okay, I had to ask, given the lotto fever going around, at the time of this question, the lotto is 1.6 billion. If you won, would you try to fund a game? If so, which?
No.
Realistically, no, because I feel like any of the sure bets, I might fund maybe like 1 or 2 things on Fig, because you can become a partner and you can get you get points on the back end. You get some of the revenue back.
That I could see. Honestly, realistically, no, I would not back a game.
Yeah.
I would not fund a game for that kind. Even if I won that kind of money, even if you take the taxes and everything out, even if I got it tax free, I still would not do it. For the purposes of answering a question, yes, I would.
Yeah,
I would hand $1 billion of that to Remedy and say, make Alan Wake 2.
Right.
Tell nobody. It's a Christmas present for my wife.
Right. And like release it for her a day early, and then everybody else. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think for me, instead of funding one specific game, I feel like I would almost want to be like Kickstarter Robin Hood. I would want to say like, all right, this game is just
jump in and
$1,000 short, and it looks. I'm just gonna dump $1,500 at this game so they can just get over the finish line. Like, this is a game I really like. Toe Jam and Earl. This game's really fun. They have like a $3,000 meet and greet. I'm gonna throw this and then tell them to give the meet and greet to someone else because I don't want to leave my house. I'd rather do that as opposed to, if Ubisoft comes to me and says, hey man, can we get $50 million to fund Assassin's Creed Odyssey 2 and you'll get, some part of the profits, that's a no-brainer. Rockstar comes and says, hey, give us $150 million for GTA 6, but you'll get a cut of the profits. Sure. I will make that 20 years from now when it gets released, I'll make that money back. But I don't know if I would... I don't know if I'd go to Obsidian and say, hey, make me Alpha Protocol 2.
I mean, that's the big thing for me is, off the top of my head, I'm trying to think of games and game franchises that I would love to be able to just give it a nice round number, give it $1 billion, and say, you have the money, make a game that you would like to see.
Make your dream game.
Yeah, and number one for me, it's Alan Wake 2, because I think it's a great game. I think it's absolutely fantastic, and I know that that would mean that my wife owes me everything
Forever.
for the rest of our lives
Yes.
because I funded the game that she would be most hyped for.
When you're ghosts, she will still owe you.
Yes. Whereas for me personally, I'd love to see a new front mission, but we're getting a new front mission.
Yeah, what's that?
I can't remember. It's like after Echo or after something.
Alter Echo or something like that? Yeah, that basically the same team is like, hey, what if we make another front mission and just don't call it that? It's like,
Yep.
oh, yes, please do. I want to...
Yep. I'd love to see an Alpha Protocol 2,
Yep.
but right now you could throw $1 billion at Obsidian, but you don't know what they're going to be making based on their current situation. Do you want to throw it at someone like Telltale and try and get that ship
like save
rated
the
on
company? Yeah.
that? You know,
Do
every
you want
game
to
that I
throw it
can...
at like another Mass Effect game? You know, knowing that even with money and time might not be the thing that we're looking for.
That would be something I would be interested in doing, but at this point, I think you'd need to take it away from EA, and they ain't letting that license slip at all.
No, I don't even think with $1 billion they would want to get rid of it.
No.
Yeah.
So yeah, everything I want, it seems to be happening right now. So yeah, give me an Alan Wake 2.
Yeah. Death2K answered his own question here. I brought up a couple good ones. Said would maybe fund the shelved Stargate game, which could be pretty interesting.
There's a franchise that never got quite exploited as much as it should have, despite the fact that it had one movie, 3 or 4 TV shows.
Something like that, yeah. He also says, and he tried to bring back MAG, which the time is probably right for a larger thing like that. You can say like, hey man, you want a bunch of people, but are you sick of Battle Royale games? We've got MAG. Let
me introduce you to large action game.
Yes. The biggest action game.
Yeah. Lag. What works out better?
Large, big, huge action game.
Yeah. The bigger.
Yeah. He also says, I'd hire some developers for more kid-friendly games for those 6 to 10 years old. I wonder if that would be really great, because that's an underserved market, largely. That would probably do pretty well. You make good games for that audience, and I think you do pretty well.
I think the closest we've ever had to that was what's his name? Brutal Legend, Tim Schafer. They did the Sesame Street game. That's the closest we've ever had to that.
Oh yeah, I forgot they put that out. Yeah, I always remember their Fantasia game, the Disney one that they put out. I forgot they made a Sesame Street one. Yeah, crazy. Yeah. T-Bomb Rocks in Discord asked, with Telltale gone, it got me thinking about properties they missed out on. One that comes to mind is Doctor Who. I feel that Universe would do very well in that style game. Could you see Don't Nod or any other company doing this? I now want a Doctor Who game like that.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that until I saw that question. I was like, oh no.
Yeah.
Because you would never be tied down by seasons.
Yep.
You'd never be tied down by location or time. Yep. Or anything. It's
or even voice actor. You don't want that voice actor anymore. Yay, regeneration.
Yep. Is Chris Eccleston free? No? David Tennant? Yeah, okay, because Tennant does voice acting.
Yeah. God, he's in the newest DuckTales, which is really good. He's the Grandpa Duck, which is perfect.
Yeah. And he's also in the new Rooster Teeth animated series that they announced.
Oh, really?
Yeah, along with Michael B. Jordan.
Oh, wow. He's really good. I couldn't see Don't Nod doing this, because I feel like Don't Nod, I feel like they're solidifying their niche right now, which is down-to-earth, realistic stories. Yeah, that have angsty teens and cool music that has a little bit of science fiction to it.
Yeah.
I don't know if any other company... I feel like those were the two companies that were doing it, and now it's just kind of Don't Nod. Who's also making other weird vampire slurping games.
Yeah. Who knows where that came from?
There's another one to fund, Vampire 2.
Yeah.
Vampire.
Well, hopefully that gets picked up for a second one, because I'm pretty sure I don't think they blew the bank on that thing.
No, I don't think so.
And I'm hoping it sold well enough, because seems like a fair few people picked her up.
I feel like that's one of those games where they printed enough, they like bought Unreal Engine 4 and they used that, and they used all their tools, and they just put out a solid game.
Come on, who could make a good choose your own adventure game? Give me a BioWare studio making a choose your own adventure game.
Yeah.
Take Mass Effect and take all the third person stuff out, and just give me a small BioWare studio dedicated to writing and producing a really good choose your own adventure story.
And with their high
production quality.
That's exactly what I was gonna say. Yeah. My brain. That's the moment where my brain just switched off. It's like, we've been recording for too long. I'm out of here.
Yeah, you might end up saying that Doctor Who has got frostbite.
Heyo. All right, moving on. Next question. Maximus Prime sent us a whole bunch of questions, so we're just going to sort of take them one by one. After seeing the huge list of potential issues changing your name on PSN could create, something hit me. If Sony built a system in a way that makes what seemingly is a super easy thing to do break almost everything, what other companies could have made a similar big mistake? So, we didn't talk about it in news stories because it's still in beta, but Sony is, as Sony does, messaging this terribly.
Yep.
Where they came out and said, PSN name changes, yeah! And they put an asterisk on it and said, well, there could potentially be issues. We're going to start squashing them during the beta, which hasn't started yet. And we're going to be working with our partners to get all their games patched and all that stuff. And this week, they added on to the asterisk that says, by the way, if you change your name, you might lose access to paid DLC and some saves. But the postscript of that they're really not talking about is, but we're working with our partners to resolve that before this stuff goes into production. So during the beta, this might break. We're not expecting it to during release. And it's also for games like Vampire that aren't these big name games that not a ton of people are playing. So if someone has to restart their Vampire playthrough because they changed their PSN name, nobody's going to be as upset as Fortnite.
Or Destiny.
Right. I would have liked to have seen Sony just do this for PS5 if it's going to cause all these issues, but Sony does what Sony does.
I think the problem is right now, I think Microsoft are setting the expectation backwards compatible needs to go forwards.
Yep.
So you need forwards compatibility on your backwards compatibility, otherwise you're gonna start an S-storm of everybody.
Well,
because
it's so confusing, because if PSN is questionably designed like these issues suggest, at some point they had to rip off the Band-Aid, and because they are keeping PS3 games live, and let's hope they'll be keeping PS4 servers live when the PS5 launches. We don't know anymore. They had to rip the Band-Aid off at some point to massively refactor the back end of PSN.
You'd think they'd do it at a console jump just to make it a little easier of a disconnect.
Yeah, there's more of a breaking point there, where it's like, all right, you know, if you're still on PS4, the PS5 is a wonderful experience, and you can change your name. It might break PS4 games, we don't care. Yay, PS5! You know, like, that seems a more, unlike when on the 360, Microsoft said, we're going to allow you to change your name. It's $10. That's it. It just works. That's all. You do it however many times you want. That's it. That's my expectation of your back end is solid. It just works.
Yeah,
I know it's crazy.
As much as I hate to say this sounds like a PSN problem, which seemed like
100%.
When it 100% first came out, I get the feeling that the PSN was kind of stuck together with twigs and duct tape.
Yes.
And it's basically just turned into a building full of twigs and duct tape now.
Can I show you Exhibit A, which are download speeds?
Yes.
Yeah.
Can I show you Exhibit B, which is transferring from PlayStation to PlayStation speeds?
Yes. Man, yeah. Just copy what Microsoft's doing, guys. Come on.
They did, and that's what made the PS4 so great.
That's a fair point, yeah. He says, do either of you have any guesses or theories on what the next PSN gate will be? To me, I don't think there's going to be anything that major until the PS5 is announced. I feel it in my bones that the cocky Sony is back, so they're going to be riding this perceived win. They're like getting high off this perceived win because the consoles are getting sales parity now.
Mm-hmm.
And when they announce the PS5, they're going to pooch it in some real major way. Like, real fundamental way, where it's not even like, it's download only, you know, because Microsoft's also going that way. Maybe they'll announce the PS5 and it'll be like, it has PSVR 2, and it's only a VR box. And it's like, the what now?
Yeah.
Something so weird and dumb.
The only thing that pops into my head is, like you said, it's the VR thing, or now we've got a Kinect in every box, except it's not a Kinect, it's a Pinect, which is the PlayStation version.
Yeah.
They seem... they seem to... Like, every business and every industry is a secular industry.
Right.
It goes up, it goes down, it goes up, it goes down, it goes up, it goes down.
See the Sonic cycle.
So yeah, see the Sonic cycle, see the rule of sevens when it comes to release years.
Yes.
Darn you, 2018.
I know, you gotta screw it up.
I just can't... Right now, it feels like Microsoft are on the long-term look. Like, Microsoft came out the gate with the OG Xbox, which was a fantastic console, and they did not do it right.
It's a sales failure.
Yeah. Then they switched that around, came out with the 360, and very, very quickly, they embraced it. They leaned into what people loved. Then they had the PlayStation 3 moment with the Xbox One.
Yeah.
The you will want to work 2 jobs to buy this machine moment for the Xbox One, specifically in regards to their messaging was their biggest issue.
The DRM messaging, where it was really well intentioned, but just they sort of dropped. They like threw a grenade into a crowded room and then just sort of left. And it's like, I don't know what's going to happen. It's like, hey man, that was a bad idea.
Because the most annoying thing about this is everybody who uses PlayStation 4 to this day, an Xbox One to this day, a PC to this day, the majority of them are always online, no matter what.
Yep.
Because that's what the consoles are now.
Game Pass checks in that's like once a week, once every 4 days to make sure that you still have a subscription so you can still keep playing your games.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's the norm now.
Yeah. And yet their messaging killed them on it.
Yep.
Which is very much what happened to Sony when the PlayStation 2 shipped over to the PlayStation 3.
Right.
And I feel like Microsoft very quickly seemed to have learned their lesson. They cut the Xbox original so quick.
Yep.
As soon as they realized they could get a leap up, they cut that off so quick. They got rid of the guy who was in charge of the Xbox One development and put Spencer in charge.
Yep.
And that seems like a dude who learns his lessons and sticks with them.
And learns his lesson very quickly, which is uncommon for Microsoft.
It's uncommon for executives, period.
That's fair, yeah.
I give you Peter Molyneux.
God. You know what? I was thinking about him the other day. We haven't heard from him in a really long time.
Good.
I don't know what he's doing, but I like the more humble Peter Molyneux.
He is probably sitting in a coffee shop arguing with that kid about the MMO and which way it should go.
You know, for me, that's fine. Keeps both of them busy.
Mm-hmm. It's like I love what is it, Pete Moore? Was it Peter Moore?
Peter Moore, yeah.
For Microsoft and then EA and then back to Microsoft, or the other way around or something.
And now football club.
Now head of Liverpool Football Club, which is my team.
That's right.
So
get to see Petey all over again.
All these people seem to have learned their lesson like really, really quick, generally speaking.
Yeah.
Spencer seems to have done it quicker than most. I feel like Sony needs to get slapped a little bit to learn it again as quickly as possible. Every
generation, they'll be doing great one generation. They'll get too big for their britches. They'll get smacked down the other one, and then the cycle will continue.
I mean,
the Sony cycle.
It helps especially this generation, how big the publishers and developers are getting at this point.
Yeah.
because for a couple of E3s you had Ubisoft taking all of the bad news away from everybody else with Mr. Caffeine. And then you had, I think it was Konami with 1 million people on the screen. So
Konami's press conferences were so good.
It's not even the console developers anymore. It's like people just seem to stick their feet in it all the time.
Bethesda, I think, is the reigning king of what did I just watch? What is happening here?
Yeah, but they're also reigning king of we don't give an F.
That's partially, I think, why it's so successful. Is like we're just gonna do some fun stuff, like whatever. Hey, Wolfenstein, whatever.
Mm-hmm. Here is literally Skyrim on Alexa.
Right. And then it actually came out. Maximus Prime has one more question for us. It says, I was totally stoked about Fallout 76, speaking of Bethesda, but after watching a bunch of YouTube videos from my favorite YouTubers coupling their opinions with my very disappointed impressions, as well as how Bethesda has botched the beta, I've totally flipped on the game and won't be getting it. I want to take a side note here. I'm not going to be picking up Fallout 76. I probably will, maybe once private servers will come out. That'll probably be fun to fart around with people. I actually really feel like Bethesda has done a pretty good but not great job of messaging around the beta, saying, game is still under development, you're helping us test this game, it's going to be broken, please help us. They didn't say loudly enough on the end of that, during the beta is when it will be broken. Launch should be better. That's like the one little thing I wish they would have done better. But I feel like they've actually done a really great job saying the game's going to be in a fairly beta state. For real, it's not a network test. It also is. But, you know, there's going to be stuff that's broken. So I'm a little surprised people are like, I played Fallout 76 and it's broken. It's like, yeah, it's a brand new Fallout Online game. Like, of course it's going to be broken, especially during the beta.
Yeah, and it's in beta. It reminds me of Battlefield 3 when they literally put out a network test.
Right.
And called it a network test.
Yep.
And everybody was like, I hate this beta. This game is terrible. It's like, dudes.
You're just testing the network, man. That's what you're doing. He says, have you ever been really excited about a game and after seeing a bunch of pre-release content and the way the devs handled it caused you to totally flip and not want to play the game anymore? If so, what games and why did the additional details kill your desire to play it?
Okay. I've got a really quick answer to this one. Fallout 76. The second they said multiplayer.
Yeah, for me, multiplayer was sort of like, that's not what I'm here for. And then they said no private servers. I'm like, yeah, that's where I'm out.
I was like halfway out the door. Then they said that, and I shut the door behind me. And then they were like coming later, and I just left my card in the mail slot and walked away.
Right. Yeah, just call me. Yeah. I feel like Anthem has been a little bit like that for me. Like where they initially showed it, and I didn't watch stuff until this last E3, and I was like, this all looks really good. And then they didn't really detail a lot of character customization. I'm not sure if they have recently. They just had another live stream the other day. But in my RPGs, I really, especially online, I really like my character looking, like having the gear sets and looking different from other people and, you know, looking cool in a social space. You know, that stuff is interesting to me, not as super important. It wouldn't stop me from playing Anthem.
Yeah, most importantly, you want your character doing the calm.
I really do. Destiny 2, cough, cough, cough. But to me, that some of that stuff they're messaging around, like, you have these different suits and you can change the color, and it's like, yeah, but I need more than that.
Yeah, I mean, Anthem is a difficult one in this household because in this household we have the BioWare nut job. Yeah, which
is not.
It's not me.
Right.
I'm sure she won't mind me calling her that because she found more videos of conversation trees that she's never heard before. So she is in the process of listening to them again.
Okay.
But she is 100% anti-Anthem because it's not the BioWare that she knows.
Well, it's this like
it's
the
a weird
other BioWare team.
Yeah. And I'm fine with this. I'm looking forward to Anthem. Anthem is on my I will buy this day one list.
Mm-hmm.
I am not getting excited about it at all because I don't know what to expect from them in regards to this kind of game.
It's a brand new frontier for them. Like, they say they're still working on Dragon Age, the next Dragon Age, which I'm very excited to purchase day one when it comes out, because I know, like your wife is saying, I know that BioWare, that is those games. You can say what you want about Andromeda, I'm not going to. Those are games of quality, and I can expect what I expect.
Yeah.
I'd love for the other half of BioWare to now be making these shared world, loot-based shooters, because that's another genre I really like. I'm still playing Destiny 2 a lot. It would be cool if that specific genre had more competition than you're playing Warframe and you hate Destiny, or you're playing Destiny and you're envious of Warframe. No one hates Warframe. It's just a lot of like, man, if Bungie would just steal a lot of stuff from Warframe, that's a bummer.
Let's face it, Warframe is you either love it or you don't get it.
Right.
That's it.
Yep. Yeah. Anthem is... I'm so curious about Anthem, and that's another thing. Anthem to me is like Red Dead Redemption 2. I want it to succeed, but I don't know if I'm going to play it because there are some fundamental things that might break that experience for me. But I want... Like, I'm very happy for Red Dead Redemption 2 to be a massive hit already, 2 days after its release. That's really great. I want the same for Anthem, but I also want to be playing it.
Yeah.
Selfishly.
Oh, I mean, Division 2 looks like... I love Division 1. Division 2 is a good example of this. Like,
yeah.
I am probably 100% in on Division 2.
Yeah.
I don't know if this will be a day one because I don't know where my time and games will be up to at that point.
I'm really frustrated with Ubisoft saying it's not a political game.
I'll be honest, I'm really fed up of all developers saying that so they don't get heat. Far Cry 5 looking at you square in the face.
Yeah.
This isn't a political game. Don't take my guns away.
Right, like, yeah, it's pretty bad.
Yeah.
That's another great one. I didn't play the Division 1 because Destiny 1 had launched around the same time, and I had chosen my battle lines, maybe incorrectly now. But you look at the Division 2 and you see them making all the right, we've got raids and we have 6 people parties and all the great stuff in Division 1, and now we're going to put more in it, and all that sounds great, but I don't like the setting, I don't like the story they're going for, I don't like the apolitical nature of the company, and to be fair, that's sort of a backseat to the gameplay, but that's all, for a game like that, that's all pretty important to it, so,
yeah.
I don't know.
You can't come out with Assassin's Creed and talk about the Crusades and basically insert your own gods into this universe. And then have a spiel in the front saying, quite rightly, that it's made by people of all faiths and religions.
Right.
And the evolution of games is in that actual intro, by the way. All faiths and religions, all genders, faiths and religions, all genders, sexual orientations, faith and religions.
Yeah.
It evolves every time.
Yeah.
But you don't get to do that and then have a game set... I believe it's set in Washington. In
DC, yeah.
In a post-apocalyptic area.
Right. Like outside the White House.
The way 2018 is going, and then say it's not political.
Right.
You don't get to have both of those in your wallet and enjoy them both.
What this reminds me so much of is like the early 2000s when like POD and Creed were both high on the charts.
Both Christian rock bands. And POD were like, yeah, we're Christian rock bands.
Yeah, and Creed came out and said, we're not really religious, we're just singing about our feelings. And it's like, I can respect POD. I really, even though I don't like the music, I can't really respect you, Mr. Creed. You just need to be honest about it. That's fine. POD's doing all right.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember, was it one that said, I can't remember which one that came out and was like, yeah, we are religious, but that's fine.
Yeah, whatever, I respect that. That's cool.
I ain't got no problem, even if they want to make a game and that's completely against my political beliefs. Sure. I'll be fine with that because I enjoy seeing things from the other side too. I've said it plenty of times. I love being a devil's advocate. Even if I agree 100% with what you say, I will say the opposite sometimes, just so we can have a debate on it.
Right. Yeah, I can't think of any other games that have really bitten me like that. I feel like with so many companies nowadays, you can almost see the writing on the wall for that. Like,
Yeah.
hey, when Bungie announces probably middle of the year next year Destiny 3 instead of another season of Destiny 2 DLC, they're probably going to make a whole bunch of promises and then let me and everybody else down when Destiny 3 launches 6 months later than it was supposed to.
How could you think such a thing?
I can see the future.
Well, let's see where else is there that we can look at like that. Crackdown 3 is going to be mediocre. We all know that.
Crackdown 3 is going to be fine but fun.
Yeah. Guess what the next Forza Motorsport's going to be? It's hard to disappoint when everyone paints inside the lines. That's the problem these days. The games that don't paint inside the lines are the games that tend to be the most surprising / disappointing.
That's why I'm excited we have publishers like Devolver Digital. Like, that used to be the role of Square Enix, Squaresoft then, and Sega. They used to put out the really crazy stuff like
Bayonetta.
What's that?
Bayonetta.
Yeah, Bayonetta, and like even earlier than that. But like, who thought we would have the Katamari games come to the U.S.? Because you look at that and I'm like, that's a Japanese-only game, never coming out. Oh, okay, it got published out over here. Like,
yep.
That's the stuff we don't super see. That's where indies have been picking up the slack, which is really great. But like that Devolver game, My Friend Pedro or whatever it is, that banana game where you're flipping and shooting guns, like
the Max Payne wannabe game that looks like more than Max Payne could ever be.
That's super cool. But you're right, a lot of these big publishers they're going to announce another season of Rainbow Six at E3 and another documentary. Yeah, all right. You know, like, that's fine, but...
Yeah. We'll have the new Halo game, and it'll have Master Chief, and it'll have Cortana.
Yep.
And I don't care how many times they die in the story, it's still going to be there.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. All right, this episode is super long, so we're actually done with questions, but we can probably talk about publisher disappointments for the rest of the time. Thank you very much, everyone, for listening. If you'd like to visit us, you can do so at tvgp.tv. Everywhere to find and follow us is on the right-hand side of the page. Patreon. Patreon.com/E1M1. The ones are numbers. Get the brand new ODNF. The brand new dynamic soundtrack is coming out. Early access to We Roguelike It a week early. Episode 3 is going to be coming out this week for patrons.
Which is another long one.
Yeah, another long one. A super long Outcast this week. So the $5 tier, it's only $5 a month. Super helps out the show, helps me as a guy who doesn't have a paying job, helps me for hosting, which is how I get the episodes to you. So $5 a month gets you pretty much everything. Anything above that is just very much appreciated.
Yep.
Game Club Game of the Month is Massive Chalice. The recap episode for 2064 is in the free feed right now. Massive Chalice has probably about 3 more weeks on it. I haven't looked how long November is, but I don't know if we get another free long month here, but that is on live right now. And I don't think I've missed anything.
Game Club's 4th week, or is it 3rd week?
Third Saturday.
3 weeks left.
Okay, so 3 more weeks for that. It's Massive Chalice, and it's a highly random game, so the expectation and your expectation of us is that we have not finished it. It says, I don't know what the win condition is in that game, and I will never see it.
Yep.
So,
I learned that my wife has like 4 achievements left in that game, and they are all complete it on Brutal, complete it on Iron Man, complete it on Iron Man Brutal, and some other really stupid difficult one.
No, thank you.
Yep.
Yeah, so come join us. Discord channel has a channel for that, including... Now we have a channel for Red Dead Redemption 2. If you want to talk about the effects of coin purses, you can talk about it in there, and all your hot animal skinning tips. We'll see you all next week.
Bye!
Okay. Guess my kid woke up from her nap, and now she's begging to come up and see me, so... Once we are not live, Moon will get her angry face at strangers.
Yeah. Titles.
Yes, please.
You're the Patreon. Normal person to host. Star wink star. Upgrades to my thing. What happened to him? The horse's coin purse. Cowboy simulation. Well, we know what it is. Is that a veto? That's got to be a veto, isn't it?
No, I think it's in the running. It's
Really?
like just obscured enough that it could mean something different until you listen to it and you're like, oh no, they're talking about the coin purse, not the not the horse's money satchel that it has on its saddle.
That sounds even worse. The horse's money satchel sounds legitimately worse.
It really does.
Um,
Oh, do you have
hold
more?
on.
Sorry.
Yep. I'd stop because you burst out laughing.
I can't help it. Coin purse is just so dumb.
Tasted the difference. You're a tweaker. A table for everyone, and El Presidente never sleeps.
I have from normal person to host. Here's Blood Island, which I really like. Rockstar Village, the horse's coin purse, Horses Don't Care, Cowboy Simulator 2018, You're the Patreon, and Wink. I like the horse's coin purse, although apparently it's hard to say, and Cowboy Simulator 2018.
You know it's got to be Coinpurse because you can't not laugh anytime you say it.
I know, and I'm having trouble saying it, which means I'm just going to circle it.
There is no questions. It has to be the horse's Coinpurse.
It has to be. I feel dirty. Alright, starting in 3, 2, 1. This is That Video Game Podcast, episode 575 for October 29th, 2018. The Horse's Coin Purse.
Jingle jangle, keeping my gubbins.
I couldn't even stop laughing for the intro. Alright, thank you so much everyone for watching. Appreciate everyone hanging out with us every Sunday. We'll see you next week. Bye.